What is up, everybody? Welcome to ToothAndTailTV, the show where you submit us replays and we cast them. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? Can you tell the difference with my new microphone? Oh, hang on. Let me, I think, okay, yeah, wait, okay, so this is what I was just using the built-in laptop microphone. Oh god, it's already peaking. So then change it back to the new. Boom, yeah. Is that good? I think it's good. Can you tell the difference? Alright, anyways, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. As always, I got a ton of submissions, man. I shouldn't say as always, but so thank you very much, everybody who submitted. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to hit every submitter tonight because of that. But I'll do my best to try to get the guys on Thursday's show who aren't on the list tonight. So what's up, everybody? Man, I just got to play a few rounds before the show, and I was just like, I just want to play Tooth and Tail right now. It was a lot of fun, man. What is going on? Not too much. Wednesday, don't forget about the Wednesday night show that Cyborg started doing. I believe it's going to be show number 3 coming up tomorrow night, so real excited about that. Okay, so without any further ado, I suppose, let us just get into it, man. We're going to start the night off nice and strong with a submission from the gentleman. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the 3 o'clock position, we've got Blue Cat. And his opponent in the 11 o'clock with a crazy deck, the gentleman. Oh man, I think we're in for a treat this game, you guys. So, a lot of people have been taking the artillery cannons lately. If you guys have been out of the loop for a little bit, there was a recent patch where the arty cannons got changed. They're a little weaker now than they were, but they only cost 120 food. But the real story is Blue Cat here going for that 4-farm lizard opening, trying to put on some aggression, but the gentleman scouts it immediately and responds with a 5-farm Warren. Blue Cat actually going for a 4-farm double. So let's see how the 5-farm Warren holds against it. I think with some good micro, the gentleman should be okay. I would like to note the gentleman took these front pigs, which are going to be important as this rush comes in. You know, making sure just the optimal amount of pigs are shooting. You know, imagine if he didn't take this south pig, for example, maybe took this middle back one. It would be a lot more difficult to defend. And smartly, I actually really like this play from Blue Cat a lot. He realized, okay, my opponent is going to be able to handle this opening, so I'm just going to tech out of it, and it should put him in a decent lead coming out of the early game here, as the gentleman's economy is a bit behind. Now, he does have a few more lizards on his opponent, but I don't anticipate he's going to move out. I'd imagine he might sell off one of those Warrens and, yeah, just go ahead and farm up. So, we'll have to see how this game progresses. I think both those players answered that little early game dance very well. You know, it's always a nice thing to do, man. You know, you got to punish people. Like, I almost feel bad sometimes. I'll run against new players on the ladder or something, and you know, basically, you know, if you're gonna do something crazy, man, I'm gonna lizard rush you, and people gotta learn that. You know, you can't just do something like go straight for snakes or try to take a quick expansion, because you can get punished. And good scouting from the Blue Cat, identified the campfire right there. Gentleman was trying to take, go ahead and knocks it out, and really like this campfire in the 9 o'clock position. That's gonna be difficult for Blue Cat to ever really scout. Yeah, he actually hasn't even been able to scout that portion of the map just yet, and with the pathing, it's going to be difficult. I mean, that whole area is basically the gentleman's, right? Like, the only way to get to that 9 o'clock campfire is through the main base of the gentleman here. And I like this approach, too, from the gentleman, just trying to get out on the map and re-secure that campfire. But Blue Cat answered very nicely by taking a campfire of his own, and he's going to go for this nice kind of meta, you know, tier 2 opening with the chameleons. And this makes a very strong push, man. Like, right when you get those 2 chameleons out, oh, he's actually going to go for 4, but, you know, typically you will wait for, like, the 2 chameleons to get up, and by that point you'll have 12, 15 lizards, and you can go in there and win engagements most of the time. I mean, a chameleon attack in the early game can be very devastating, and Nice mind placement here from the Gentleman. I don't think I've been commenting enough on this crazy deck out of the Gentleman here, but, you know, I actually don't mind it, and I don't think it's as crazy as it looks on face value, because the Gentleman is pretty known for his lizard play. I mean, he likes lizards for a lot of reasons. They allow flank opportunities. You can base trade in unfavorable situations, I guess, and sometimes win the game off it. And ooh, that is painful. That Hardy Cannon is just in range to knock out this very aggressive Gristmill from the Gentleman here. He was trying to establish that and get up, you know, some of this crazy defense he's got here. So still got enough territory off this other Gristmill in the campfire, though, to start securing this line. And I think that's really what the Gentleman's going to go for with this deck approach. You know, he wants to split this map very favorably for himself via these defensive structures, and probably in the later game, you know, try to do a sneak attack on Blue Cat when he's out of position and try to snipe his mills with a lot of lizards. Is what I'm thinking he's going for here. But Blue Cat, man, he's building up a very formidable army here. I mean, 6 chameleons is nothing to bat an eye at, and they deal with barbed wire very effectively, so the Gentleman's not going to be able to really directly engage this. Ooh, gotta be careful. One chameleon does fall there. Looks like a couple more. You really gotta be careful with your chameleons. If you actually, like, hold, you know, you, like, hold the button and tell them to just move and not attack, they'll re-stealth, like, pretty quickly. So big victory for the Gentleman there, knocking out just a ton of chameleons from his opponent. But Blue Cat's not done yet. He's going to come in here, and he's still got a good amount of other units because the Gentleman has just spent a ton of money on defense here. So he's able to maintain this base. You know, none of these bases, it's kind of weird map, to be perfectly honest. None of these bases are, like, quote-unquote naturals or pockets, right? Like, they're all kind of awkward, and throughout all this aggression, the Gentleman did sneak in a second base and is saturating it fairly well, but the Gentleman's out of position here. And the lizards are going to come in and just take out that Gristmill. That hurts. Damn, man. Good. See, that's why lizards are so strong, man. Because and it's not like the Gentleman... I mean, I don't think he really did anything wrong there. I guess you can make the argument he could have kept his units in position while he went down, but... You know, Blue Cat had more lizards to begin with, right? So he would have just ran over those lizards, and it still got a good amount of damage done. But, you know, after taking all that damage, the Gentleman's not in the worst shape in the world. He's got a couple campfires here. He's got a fully saturated second base. He's got a third on the way. And it's going to be difficult for Blue Cat to really secure any more expansions on this map. So Blue Cat's been playing very well also. I was going to say very well as well, but he's kind of getting choked here. I mean, the strategy from the Gentleman is working fairly effectively. He invested a lot into these defense, which allowed him to cut the map in a very favorable way for himself. So Blue Cat's got to be scratching his head right now, thinking about what the proper response to this is. Alright, so as this game progresses, let's see. Okay, here he goes. Yeah, the Gentleman trying to run through with these very quick lizards and knock something out there. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. I need to check my alerts, give you a proper shout out here in a minute, but I like that. The Gentleman kind of zigzagged Blue Cat, you know, got him out of position, came in there and dealt some economic damage. That was enough for Blue Cat to tap out, so really interesting game to start the night off with. Okay, who was that? Hang on. I'm a pro streamer here, guys. Smutboyx, thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Okay. How's everyone doing? I think the audio should be good. I think everything should be good. I'm trying to monitor the chat, man. I'm just so awful at it. It's rough to do. Like, I gotta focus on casting the game, but I do like to acknowledge the chat a little bit. So let's hop into match number 2 here. Chigal Shaltu Vioin versus Master Wario. Spawning in the 5 o'clock, we've got Master Wario. And his opponent in the 1 o'clock, Chigal, Xiaotu, Vioan. I think I'll just call him Xiaotu for short. And pretty meta deck selection coming out of Xiaotu here. You know, opting for that third tier 2 to have that flexibility and options rather than going for a tier 3. And Master Wario, on the other hand, really interesting deck here. He's got the moles to either put on some early aggression or reinforce a mid-game attack or defense. You know, he's got lizards, which are great. It's difficult to skimp out on the squirrels, but I'm not sure how often people are running toads anymore. I knew for a while they were pretty meta. Maybe the slight nerf that they got to their damage output was enough to make people decide to go elsewhere with their deck selection choices. But got the boar and wolf here, which I would love to see a buffed up boar by a wolf. I don't think I've casted, I was thinking about it before the show, I've casted about 70 hours of Tooth and Tail now, and I don't think I've seen a boar buffed by wolf. Maybe I have, but it's not ringing any bells, and pretty slow early game here. Nothing crazy. It's going to be difficult for Master Wario to get out on this map, but he does have this nice campfire in the back. He's got a decent natural expansion. And meanwhile, Xiaotu has a good natural expansion himself, but I feel like these 3 gristmills over the side are kind of favored towards Xiaotu, man. I mean, Wario's got this nice little... I mean, he's got a way to get over there. He's not totally boned here. But he's going to have to go through that water, and he's just going to have to keep his eye on those bases, man. That's really... Unless one of these guys just gets bopped in the mid-game, that's really what this is going to come down to. Who can secure that third base? And luckily for Master Wario, though, he does have not only 1, but 2 campfires here. One's a little more on the outskirts here. If Xiaotu does manage to scout that and builds up, 6, maybe 9 lizards, he can run in there and snipe that out real quick. But Xiaotu opting for a really quick expansion, man. 2-minute 20 expansion. I think the I don't know, people probably have different opinions on this, but to me, I feel like a normally timed expansion's around 3, anytime in between like 3 minute to 4 minute, so anything in the 2-minute range is pretty early, but it's a good risk if it pays off here. Just a single turret to kind of plant his foot on the ground here. I don't mind that, and opting to go up for the Falcons. But the real story here, where is it at? Where's that boar at? How am I that blind? Oh, there it is. Okay, so Wario did go for a pretty quick boar. Not the craziest tier 3 in the world. It wasn't like a hardcore tier 3 rush or anything, but it is a quick tier 3 indeed. And Xiaotu has not scouted it, and also Xiaotu is not showing any signs of aggression. Which is really the answer to a tier 3 rush. You've got to be very aggressive and try to go in there and bust your opponent before that unit gets out. But Xiaotu just wants to take this into the mid-game and macro up. And damn, man, Master Wario going for the wolf too. Where'd he put it? Just right there. That's a beautiful spot to hide some tier 3 tech, man. And Wario recognized that it's going to be difficult for him to take these expansions over here and tried to sneak a gristmill out, but good scouting from Xiaotu, and just 3 lizards are going to be able to come over here and knock this thing out. I feel like Wario could have responded, but maybe he just kind of noticed a little too late and was just like, I don't want to get everything out of position, perhaps. So we'll just have to see where it goes from here. I mean, Wario's going to want to be passive until he gets probably both of his tier 3 out, right? And unfortunately for him, I mean, maybe he thought about getting the boar, right? Like, that was the plan build, and then he saw Xiaotu expand and was like, okay, in response to that quick expansion, I'm going to get the wolf as well. But it would have been slightly more efficient to place the wolf warren down first. That way, that wolf would sit there and buff your miners, make a little extra money while you're waiting on that boar, but no big deal. And Xiaotu, I believe, is still none the wiser, and I don't blame him. I mean, he has been trying to scout. That's just a very difficult spot to get in and see. That was a beautiful little position for Wario to hide some tech, and man, I'm excited for this engagement. It's 6 Falcons and a lot of tier 1 here for Xiaotu. That's it's gonna be rough to deal with, but a lot of buffed up falcons. That's the thing though, man. If Master Wario's wolf correctly buffs those falcons, it's gonna be difficult. Here we go. The first big engagement of the game is gonna come down in response to Xiao2 seeing this expansion, and Xiao2 is just gonna run over this, it looks like, and oh man, that the boar is gonna die. Is the wolf able to get out alive? It does indeed. But Xiao2 just having the raw numbers here was able to take out the boar. I feel like Xiao2 did fairly well in that engagement. He stayed a little longer than he needed to, but he got some key units killed from his opponent, right? He knocked out several falcons, he killed the boar, and he applied a lot of pressure onto Wario here, and now it's going to be difficult for Wario to both remass this army and also focus on getting some farms on this gristmill. Meanwhile, Xiao2's got a nice expansion already running, you know, halfway saturated, so Xiao2's got the momentum here and takes out the expansion of Wario. We're 6 minutes into the game, so Wario really doesn't have much of economy. Keep in mind that he does have those 2 campfires still. So he's more like at 4, well, I guess 3 farms now. Gonna give it another shot with the wolf here. But Xiao2 has just got the overwhelming numbers and gonna take the victory. Okay, Xiao2 says, I won the engagement despite being down on food and having a tier 1 heavy comp against boar. Who can tell why? Surface area? Ah, man, I wasn't paying close enough attention there. You know what? That was pretty quick. All right. No, you mentioned this to me beforehand, so now I'm curious. Let's see if I can see it. My guess would be surface area, just concave versus convex. He had a lot of units shooting at the very front while Wario was still getting in position. Let's see here. Yeah, it shouldn't take very much longer. It's a pretty short replay, and we're on 5 times speed here. Okay. Okay, so army values are pretty even. I don't understand what you mean by low. Yeah, I guess you were behind on food for now, but you do get a healthy economy. It wasn't really the first engagement. It was really the second. It was the follow-up engagement that was the most important in my opinion. Yeah, so now you've got the food lead, and you've also got the army value lead. I mean, you're on, yeah, really, it's just the fact that, you know, instead of having 2 tier 3s, you've got an extra 9 squirrels, and you've also got an extra 2 falcons, right? So army value did slightly spike there for Wario. Income is in Xiao2's favor, which is a big deal for the follow-up engagement. Okay, lizards get mowed down immediately. Looks like you're targeting the falcons, perhaps? I really think it was your falcons, man. Like, the anti-air for Master Wario dropped pretty quickly, and then once those 3 falcons were left, you just kind of had free reign on the boar and the wolf. I don't know, I could be wrong. Okay, guys. Let's go into game number 3 here. Frog versus Valeris. The boar targeted my lizards, which were forward my squirrels. The boar's flames did hit most of my tier 1, so they lived long enough to kill the rest of his army. Didn't hit most of the... Oh! Yeah, that makes sense. Those lizards did drop very quickly. But I think the big thing there was the fact that your falcons lived. after his tier 1 dropped, right? And then he didn't really have an answer to hitting your air units. But let's move on to Frog's game here. We got a new star of the show for now. Spawning at 3 o'clock, we've got Frog. Getting some work done on the ladder lately, and his opponent, Valeris, in the 9 o'clock. And so is Valeris, man. I feel bad for Valeris because I'm not sure if he actually submitted me games, but dude, I had so many submissions with Valeris in him this time around. He must be really getting after it on the ladder, and he's gonna go for a turret rush here. Let's see how Frog defends it. I believe Frog scouted it, right? Yep, so he's aware. So he goes for a 5-farm double opening. And the big thing here is that this turret is gonna get down. You know, Frog and I were talking about this a little bit. You know, normally the correct response to a turret rush is to throw down a turret yourself. Because you can get it out in time, but this forward turret might go down to the single squirrel here. Trying to micro his commander to stay alive, but also give high ground vision. The commander dies, and 2 squirrels are going to go down for Frog. And Valeris is really starting to gain a foothold here. Let's see if Frog maybe techs up quick to ferrets, perhaps? Or no, is he going to go just set up camp somewhere else? I love it, man. I do this in StarCraft all the time, man. Like, I play Zerg, right? So if I get cannon rushed by a Protoss who goes really hard, spends a bunch of money to deny my natural or something, I'll just cancel it and, you know, go build a base somewhere else. Be like, all right, you just spent $500 for nothing. And that's kind of what's going on here with Valeris. You know, he got the memo, sold off a turret, but luckily for him, man, this other turret he's got the range to kind of contest these bases over here. But, you know, it doesn't take a whole bunch of squirrels to kill a turret by itself, right? So just a few squirrels is all you need. I think like 4, perhaps, is the number. Correct me if I'm wrong. But 5 or 6 will do it for sure. But Valeris putting on the aggression here already on Frog's impromptu expansion over here to the west. And, yeah, now it's... Valeris has got to think. Yeah, he's a little out of position. He doesn't have units so much right now. And Frog's going to jump on that turret, but it wasn't the most favorable trade for him, to be honest. And Valeris is gaining a little momentum here. He's got to make sure, while he's in here putting on the pressure, that he targets these squirrels. He overextends a little bit, and losing these squirrels to the re-rally here of Frog. And that's going to put Frog in a much better shape. Gives him a little momentum in this game. But Valeris does have the economic advantage here. You know, Frog's only been able to afford 5 farms, so... He's starting to get those numbers up, though, being very aggressive, trying to deny these Warrens of Valeris, which might be the key to Frog's success here, is just, you know, hey, you're never going to get up enough units. And by the time I get 9, 12, 15 squirrels, I mean, a couple turrets aren't going to really matter anymore. And I love this play. This is always the correct thing to do against somebody with defensive structures, is simply just try to position yourself outside of the range of those turrets. You gotta be careful here not to bleed out too much damage. Doesn't lose a squirrel, but gets close. Yeah, I think Frog did an interesting... I actually like this approach to the turret rush fairly well. You know, instead of freaking out, he just moved somewhere else and started rebuilding units. A little over-aggressive there. Fighting into those turrets, but Valeris did overextend last time that he got an edge. Let's see if he does again. And the economies are back on even numbers here. Just 5 farms each, very low. But Valeris is in a really awkward spot now. Like, he's got his critical infrastructure out here in the middle of the map. He's got to defend this turret. It does go down. And Valeris does have some pretty good squirrel numbers, though. But they're a little distracted fighting that Gristmill. A couple are out of position. And the defender's advantage here from Frog is going to be enough to push Valeris back again. And very clutch game. Did you have... No, you got 5 farms, Frog. What are you talking about? Oh, you got a campfire. I didn't even notice that. You're totally right. So yeah, that was actually a big deal. Especially after you took that gristmill. And got that economic lead. And now he's got the momentum onto Valeris. He's knocking out the infrastructure over here, taking out these Warrens that Valeris desperately needs, and takes the fight. Really cool strategy there. I actually like that a lot. Frog and I were talking about it a little bit before the show, you know, and he wanted to showcase this to kind of show new players, you know, because, okay, the correct response, there's 2 correct responses to a turret rush, right? It's either you have moles in your deck or you have turrets of your own in your deck, really. And Frog's showing you how to deal with that with neither of those units in your deck composition, but just kind of, you know, setting up camp somewhere else on the map and kind of surrounding your opponent. So pretty cool. Oh man. Okay. Premium Bow with your 3.2 megabyte submission. How long is that? I should know by now. That's gotta be, I mean, at least 20 minutes. Maybe, I want to say over 25. Like, I feel like a 2.5, 2.6 megabyte submission is about 20 minutes. I could be wrong. I'm gonna guess like 23 minutes. That's my, Valeris. Hey, actually, I do need to, did you submit anything to me, Valeris? Because I got a ton of replays with you in it. And it's weird, right? Because how I set this up is I want to honor unique submitters. And I want to, like, I feel bad if I skimped out on a replay you submitted because you were in a different game. 40 minutes? Oh my god. I didn't think it was going to be that long. I think it's definitely over 25 minutes. Let's see. Maybe 25 to 30. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into this game, guys. I'm probably going to fast forward it, so don't worry. It's not going to take forever. But on the right side, we've got Premium Bow and Sly Fox getting after it in their 2v2s against their opponents, Int and Steppenzebra. Alright, I'm looking at you, Premium Bow. You're always up to shenanigans in the early game. And sure enough, this is no different here. He's got that 4-farm opening and didn't get the quick scout, so his Mole Rush is going to be a bit behind. Sly Fox has got to probably anticipate this. It slits down a single mine, which I believe did get scouted. Yeah, it did. So Premium Bow is aware of it. And I like that. You know, Premium Bow does that a lot with his Mole Rushes. I've noticed. You know, where it's almost like that feign Mole Rush attack. Like he's not necessarily really trying hardcore to Mole Rush, right? He wants to force his opponent to overreact and you know, build defensive structures they don't need. Bijol Shahi 1, man, I probably mispronounced the hell out of that, but you are my first sub, man, so thank you so much. Big shout out to that. And I believe Marxist Leninist Hopperism also subbed, so super cool, man. My first 2 subs on the channel, very awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. If you aren't aware, when I do get that $100 Twitch payout, if that ever happens, I'm going to host a $100 Tooth and Tail tournament. So your subscription and bit money is going to go back to the competitive scene of the game. But during this match, Premium Bow is going to try to come in with a Lizard Sneak attack, but was in position and defends it fairly well. You know, trading 3 Lizards for 6, so I'll take that any day of the week. And Premium's got to be frustrated, man, because that... Oh, did he get it? No, it lived, right? It's kind of hard to see it. Yeah, that pig's still alive. But I hate when that happens, man. When you go in for that lizard attack and that pig just barely lives. Yeah, we need emotes, dude, for sure. I was thinking about crowdsourcing that. I don't know, man. Maybe a woof emote. Everyone makes fun of me for the way I say woof. Maybe like a, you know what I'm saying? Like W-O-O-F. Dude, free ice cream with the sub too, man. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much, man. 3 subscriptions in like 5 minutes. You guys are the best, man. I really appreciate it. But Int is going for the expansion. He's got the Skunk, which is a good answer to the tier 1 in the early game here. But meanwhile, Sly Fox is going hard on these mines, man. Mines did just get a buff, so we've been seeing them a lot in the meta lately. And also in the bottom corner, I've been too distracted by chat. Sorry, guys. But Sly Fox did manage to sneak out a second base and saturated the hell out of it. So I feel like he's in good shape here. Interesting that Premium Bow did not go for the 8th farm here. There is a concept in the game, guys, called a starvation farm. Yeah, he's gonna go take that now, but you don't typically want that on your first base. That's normally good for like your third base. And what I mean by a starvation farm, guys, is if it gets to that super late game, you know, obviously if you've played Tooth and Tail, or maybe you haven't and you're just checking it out, you know, you run out of food very quickly. And if you are not making food anymore, if you're not producing any income, then you get kicked out of the game, you lose. It kind of goes with the lore, the theme of the game, where it's all about fighting each other for survival and for noms. So what that starvation farm allows you to do is just stay in the game for 5 minutes longer by keeping a spare farm ready to rock and roll. Man, Meow guys are with the cheer, man. You guys are crazy tonight, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. But a lot of toads coming out for Slyfox here, and his opponents do have pretty heavy lizard compositions. So I'm interested to see where this mid-game is gonna go. So far we haven't had any big engagements, but if Premium Bo can manage to get this balloon out here, that's gonna be huge. Ooh, great skunk gas, getting down on those slow toads and squirrels. Beautiful. Gotta be careful though, these skunks, you know, I feel like Int was doing a fantastic job there tanking with the skunks, but oh my god, what just happened? Everything blows up. TnTTV coming in with 9 toads and takes a very favorable engagement for his team here. And now our blue and yellow players seem to be in a good lead. They've got momentum. They want to push in here and get some more work done, but they need to be careful not to overextend. But so far, so good. And I feel like Int has done a very good job managing the health on his skunks. You notice they've taken some damage, but they haven't died. Which is important. I mean, they're kind of they're not super beefy, but they've got HP, you know, and it's always good to try to tank with units and pull them back, and they managed to get that expansion, which is going to help them out a lot here. And now Premium Bo's economy is starting to hurt, man. We just hit that 5-minute mark, so 4 farms just went fallow there. TnTTV is also kind of hurting on economy, but he does have that second base here already established, and it's going to be rough, man. You know, Premium Bo and Slyfox are really trying to muscle for this part of the map, which is riskier, but it's going to put them in a great spot if it works, right? And now they kind of have to concede and be like, okay, we're going to take some of these safer bases. I almost would have liked to see this base taken instead, because I don't think blue and yellow are scared here, but the real story, man, I've been neglecting Slyfox way too much this game, but he snuck out an owl under my nose, and he's got owl number 2 on the way, so if I wasn't aware of it, I'm sure blue and yellow are pretty surprised as well. Yeah, very great hidden tier 3 spots over there in the very southern corner. It's always really important to hide your tier 3 tech, man. You don't want your opponent to know when that's coming out. And Slyfox is going to come in here and lead the engagement with his mice and toads, but Premium Bo is not in position to help his partner out, but instead gets a little bit of counter damage done. But comes back in time to hopefully keep this owl alive, but it goes down with some great play by Int. But Int's going to lose a lot of lizards to take that owl out. So it's kind of you be the judge if that was worth, right? I always kind of say, you know, 3 owls is where it gets really scary. So it is kind of a good idea, but that wasn't cost effective. But keeping that owl count low is very critical. Especially because, let me see, no, blue and yellow both actually do have wolves, so they have some late game capability here, and 1 wolf is out already for Int. And yeah, this game has been real back and forth, and I gotta give the lead to blue and yellow here, man. I feel like Slyfox and Premium are kind of on their back foot, which is pretty impressive from our blue and yellow players, because Premium Bo is very well known in the 2v2 scene as a great player, and Slyfox is definitely a fantastic player as well. So Int and TnTTV doing a great job staying toe-to-toe in this game, but that owl composition late, man, if they can buy some time. I mean, Premium Bo's got the Badger too. Those are very powerful pound-for-pound units. They're gonna come in here for the big engage. It's so many lizards. Where are the toads? No more toads to be seen. And God, I mean, basically armies got traded there. Like, I guess green and red might have came out on top. Oh no! Oh man! Oh God, is it gonna happen? Oh my God! Oh my God! If that wolf dies, it just fair. Oh, Premium Bo's go for it! Premium Bo! Ah! Oh! Damn, dude, that was so close. Oh, I would have loved it. I'm not a big wolf fan, so I'd have loved to see that wolf die right there. But good siege now coming up for green and red here. The owl granting premium bows ferrets some much needed high ground vision, but here comes that big counter attack, flank attack from Int. You know, both players were gonna go in at first, but I like the decision for yellow to pull back. You know, not get their army too out of position here. And Int is gonna manage to knock out the main base of Slyfox, which isn't the biggest deal anymore. It kind of hurts your pride more than anything else, unless he can manage to get these Warrens too, which would be nice for him. But premium both standing strong for the time being, holding this front line very effectively. And that ferret harassment over time did knock out that natural expansion for Int, which is gonna put him in a starving position, man, and not a lot of areas to really expand. I mean, well, actually this base would be perfect. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, guys. But I like this, man. Green and red here just barely holding on and really trying to abuse the value out of things like balloons and ferrets and owls. Stay alive in these games, and you gotta be a little careful with your toads. They're kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because yeah, they can get damage done, but they're basically guaranteed to all die themselves in every engagement, right? So 9 toads, it's 180 food that gets knocked out. Oh, yeah, the balloon is giving vision. Yeah, that's probably true. That makes sense. It does have quite a lot of vision indeed. God. Why was this replay? Maybe this isn't the one. Oh yeah, this isn't the one. This is definitely not the game. Because I was like, I guess we just got premium bow in 2 replays tonight, or maybe I messed up and didn't include that one submission. It's okay. Premium bow got some FaceTime anyways tonight. But Int did manage to get this second base back up, so he's gonna stay in the game for now. Ooh, almost gets that skunk. Ah, these ferrets are doing a fantastic job. Just kind of poking and prodding wherever they can. Trying to inch out as much value as possible, but Steppen Zabral is really the only one here that's got an established economy anymore. I mean, the rest of the players here are kind of holding on for dear life. Now, Slyfox does have a fresh base that he can start saturating up, but an attack's going to come in here for blue and yellow, and it looks like they might be, just barely do not break the back of green and red, and I was worried for that Wolfman. It started taking balloon hits. Yeah, I know, Valeris. I feel bad. I always feel bad for guys who, like, are in games that they didn't submit, you know, because 9 times out of 10, man, every now and then I get a humble submission, right, where somebody will submit a loss, but 9 times out of 10, man, that people submit games, they win. So when you see your name and you didn't submit it, you gotta be like, it was one thing if it's like a close match, you know, but it's another thing if you just drop the ball, like your fox died real early or something like that. It's just embarrassing. Like, I feel for you guys. I appreciate. So far, nobody's made a big fuss out of it yet. We got a great community, man. Well, the game's kind of slowing down as everybody's getting broke. But yellow and blue are really trying to keep this pressure on, which is not advisable, man. They don't really have the edge anymore. I mean, Owl is no joke, man, and constantly going into these balloons here. More and more just free damage from those 2 balloons are probably like the most value unit of this game. And Slyfox has got up to Owl number 2, and 2 is a very close number to 3, which I don't even think you'll need all 3 Owls this game, but 2 will be enough to make a ton of free units to try to overwhelm the forces of the opponent. Let's see. I mean, we got a little bit of a lull here because players are trying to re-macro up, but this ferret harassment is just non-stop. Thanks for the correction, Misha. Yeah, it is the balloons that are giving that vision, not the owls. Again, gonna try to come in here and engage, but 2 owls worth of mice is indeed a thing. And yellow and blue trade their armies for basically free here. And meanwhile, premium is just keeping the pressure on. These fringe expansions that blue and yellow are constantly trying to keep to stay in this match. But with the 2 owls out now, man, and Slyfox stabilized, premium bows stabilized, feel like it's going to be difficult for our blue and yellow players here. And the mice are going to come in now. Jesus, look at that value, man. Basically, those mice took on the fledgling army of their opponents practically for free. And that wolf dying is going to be enough for Int to tap out, and his partner follows suit. Oh, am I losing frames? Oh my god. Why am I dropping frames, you guys? Why is that happening? Oh. Right when I get my first couple subs, my internet's gotta hate me. I am indeed plugged in to the mainframe. Let me think what could possibly be eating this up here. Here's what I'll do, guys. I'll take a quick break, and I'll make sure to power down any devices that could possibly be making me lag. Yeah, I do see the drop frames here. It's not terrible, only 3%, but that is indeed enough to make it kind of suck. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, it's just Xfinity, What can you do? Sometimes most of the time it's good, but sometimes issues happen. So let me see if there's anything I can possibly do to fix this issue, guys. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Okay, guys, I powered off all my other devices, but I am still dropping frames like a madman. Oh, what can I do? I guess I can restart the internet. I actually can't see chat anymore. I closed that. Just anything that could possibly be slowing me down here. Oh, Mishi subscribed too, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ooh, it looks like we might be getting better. I got that green square in the bottom. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then it does. Just internet, man. I don't have. I got nothing. I actually pay like extra. For like the highest tier internet I possibly can. Let's go ahead and try. Hey, Pyle, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. I am totally chat blind now, guys. I closed literally everything I could. So I think what I'm gonna do is go into game number 5 here, and I'll kind of monitor my my little OBS, little green square in the bottom. And if I keep dropping frames, I might stop the stream for a little bit. Sometimes I actually have to change my server. Sometimes like Miami's better, Atlanta's better. But let's try one more game, guys. And if it's still real bad, I'll reset the modem or something like that. All right, let's do it. Okay, Spawning in the 2 o'clock position, we've got Batya. And in the 7 o'clock, his opponent, Grinkers. And both these guys going for pretty meta setups, I feel like. You know, Squirrel Lizard is good. Typically, when you run Squirrel Lizard, the idea is, you know, hey, I'm going to basically be building lizards unless you punish me, you know, by having toads. And if you do, I can tech out of the lizards and go to squirrels. And the squirrel toad is always just fine. I mean, toads aren't, you know, unusable against squirrels, right? Toads are actually, I've noticed, like, Mia Mari made me really aware of it, but I feel like toads are really good for that, like, all-in push, right? Like, you're gonna come up on your opponent, and you're about to do a big engage, just make a bunch of toads, get them go in there, blow up on whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be cost-effective as long as it gets the job done, right? So, okay, I have the green square, which is supposed to mean that I'm good. I'm not sure if I am or not. If Cyborg or Mishi or one of those guys, if you can message me in Discord, man, because I can check that on my phone and let me know if things are still good, I'd appreciate it. Anybody message me on Discord, really. I just call them out because they're mods and have responsibility here at TnTTV, right? And speaking of Cyborg, man, don't forget to tune in to his show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. He does a tips and tricks kind of learning show. I think was really cool. I thought his production value was so awesome last week, so definitely check that VOD out if you haven't seen it yet, guys. But yeah, nothing crazy this game so far. I mean, both players just got that standard opening here. Batya does manage to get the campfire. Okay, I still have a green square, so I feel like I might be good. See, the thing is, my wife is a streamer too, and she's actually streaming at the same time as me. But we always do that, and it's never an issue. But when I went in and I was like, hey, I'm dropping frames, she's like, oh, let me. I think she was the culprit. She was like, oh, I can close something. But a really quick wolf coming out here, and that is indeed a very fast tier 3 rush. So let's see if Batya is able to sniff it out and capitalize on it. He's got to be scratching his head a little bit, like, okay, where's the rest of your money? But his commander dies, which means his army's going to be unmicroed here. And it's going to allow Grinker to take a nice little edge in that engagement. Okay, I'm still at the green square, and the drop frame percentage is going down. So hopefully it's fixed, guys. If somebody could message me in Discord, let me know. I would appreciate it. I did turn off my view of my own stream to see the chat, so I apologize. I don't see what's going on in the chat, but interesting here. Batya taking a forward expansion. I love strategies like this, man, and just try to contain your opponent. He's on the clock, though, and he doesn't even realize it. Once that wolf comes out, that's going to buff the hell out of Grinker's army here. But these turrets get established, and Grinker doesn't have an easy answer for that. You know, he doesn't have the ferret, which is fantastic at taking out defensive structures. And this is a really cool play, man. I'm very guilty of doing stuff like this on the ladder, man. I always try to be aggressive. I don't necessarily like turret rush, but I'll try to like take turrets and set up a favorable front line. You know, you can kind of juke and jive back and forward too, and check everything out. So I feel like Batya is in good shape here, but the wolf is now out for Grinkers, and Batya has been none the wiser to that wolf the entire game. So let's see if Grinkers can get something done with the wolf now. I feel like it might be a little bit of a mistake on Grinker's side here to be trying to go for all this tier 2 right now. I mean, this situation is just going to get worse and worse as the game goes on, and Batya can afford to put more and more turrets here and also sneak out a farm or two when he can. So, you know, when this kind of thing happens to you, you know, you really got to try to break out of it immediately, because the longer you wait, Batya is just going to reinforce this position more and more. Okay, yeah, I should not be dropping frames anymore. I still have a green square, and the drop frame percentage is going down. I will double check with people after this replay. But yeah, I think Batya played this really well. I think he's in great shape, and Grinker's going to try to come around and avoid these turret lines, but doesn't really do it completely, and bleeds out a couple units. Not so bad, though. Only loses a few squirrels. Didn't lose anything important like those tier 2, tier 3 units. But, you know, Batya's basically got an equal army here, but he's got these 5 turrets, and this contain is not going to allow Grinkers to get a better economy. So as you can see, Batya's just going crazy on the map, man. He's got 2 campfires. He's got another base on the way. Grinkers is going to try to come in here and do it, but that is a lot of DPS out of multiple turrets like that, man. Like, 1 turret is not the biggest deal in the world, but when you get up to 2 or 3 or 4, man, that's a lot of damage very quickly. Okay. I appreciate it. Mishi and Cyborg both messaged me and let me know I am no longer dropping frames. I am going to keep the chat disabled. I'm just going to go as lean as I can, guys. So I do apologize if I'm not interacting with the chat anymore. You guys talk amongst yourselves, I suppose. But I do see my Streamlabs dashboard here, so I can give people shout-outs for follows and stuff still. Should be able to. I don't want to skip the bonkage here, man. Oh, did you make sure to update OBS? Somebody says. I did not. You know, that could be it. That's been the culprit before. Little things have been the culprit before, man, when I drop frames. Like not updating OBS, sometimes not being on the optimal server. But I think my wife was the culprit. I think she had something up. Let me see if I can maybe... like I want to load the chat back up, but I don't want to take any risks, so I don't think I'm going to. We'll just muscle through the rest of this show blind. I know a couple of you guys are got my back. Can message me on Discord, which I can see on my phone if you need to. So we're gonna hop into game number 6 here, Bonk vs Blackmore Crest. Let's do it. Okay, spawning in at 3 o'clock, we've got Blackmore Crest. Oh, I finally messed it up. I think that's the first time I messed it up, man. Oh, I've been so good on that. It just happened after like 70 hours of casting. It had to happen eventually, I guess. And the 9 o'clock, it's Blackmore Crest. And then at 3 o'clock, his opponent, the Bonker. And so far, nothing crazy. I mean, Bonk typically likes to go for innovative builds. He really likes that owl in the Arty cannon, man. You normally see those in his decks, and then going for that 3 tier 2. And meanwhile, Blackmore Crest is just kind of playing fairly straight up, you know, as far as deck composition goes. Be interested to see how well these pigeons do for him. He might have got a little bit lucky with that pigeon pick, because they do counter the snakes and the skunks fairly effectively. You know, deal with that poison, kind of, you know, mitigate the bleeding there, or the infection, I guess I should say. But nothing insanely crazy yet. Bonk is going for a 5-farm double, 5-farm triple here. Okay, now we're getting into craziness. He's gonna look to put on some aggression. No, changes his mind. I think he just didn't want to block the production of his lizards, but he's really got to move out right now. Like, this is the window. If you look at the, you know, Blackmore went for, I believe, a 7-farm Warren, but after the scout, you know, threw down a couple more. But really what you're trying to hit with a fast attack is, you know, either when you have 3 lizards, they have 0, or when you have 4 lizards and they have 1. That's kind of your window, and now Bonk's just waited a bit too long here, and if he tried to attack in, you know, Blackmore would be able to defend very well, so Bonk's just going to back out now, but he's going to keep going with this pressure here. Going up to the 4th Lizard Warren before 8 farms. So, you know, my money right now is on Blackmore, to be honest. Like, squirrels are really good at defending. His economy's in the lead. And it's going to be rough for Bonk to get something done here. He needs to go back, take that 8th farm, and, you know, think about transitioning into the mid-game. We are approaching that 230 mark here, so this is really when I kind of expect to see, you know, builds unfold, right? When that tier 2 gets placed down, or when somebody tries to take an expansion. And yeah, here we go, Bonk going for that skunk, and maybe an expansion on top of it as well. Ooh, man, I feel like Blackmore is in a pretty good spot. The Falcon should do fairly well against the skunk, but skunks are fantastic against squirrels, so it's kind of hard to say. I mean, Blackmore won that early. Oh, but Blackmore is not paying attention. Bonk is able to sneak in, do what lizards do best, and be annoying and kind of bite at your ankles, you know, and get whatever exposed side they can. So, and even forces a turret reaction out of Blackmore here, which is much more damage, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's gonna prevent Bonk from getting in there with his lizards again as easily, but you know it's a big deal to put down defense, guys. I mean, Bonk is putting down his own, so it's not gonna matter too much. Blackmore didn't go crazy with it, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But you got to think about what that attack did for Bonk, right? Like, he got the Pigeon Warren, but he also forced an additional 120 food out of his opponent. And as long as Bonk doesn't just kind of come in here and get wrecked by these turrets, that investment's not going to pay off for Blackmore Crest, but it does make you feel safer, and it is going to allow him to get up to some more Tier 2, and yeah, it should dissuade Bonk from trying that runaround attack again, so... Oh man, see, this is what I'd love to see that turret. Oh, here we go. Bonk tried to get in, but good defense from Blackmore Crest here. Just gonna push those lizards out immediately. Doesn't lose the thing and kills a few lizards to boot. But I'd love to see this turret from Blackmore. You just sell that. I mean, it is on that nice little high ground, which is beautiful. But you know, if you sell that, you know, put it up here. See, the way I like to play, man, is I would actually put that turret like up here, dude, and that could be my line, right? So I could, you know, build a couple turrets here, and then I can run around, you know, hit Bonk here, and oh crap, if I start losing the battle, I just run back to my turrets. Let's see how this game unfolds, man. Lots of skunks coming out here for Blackmore, or for Bonk rather, and Blackmore needs to recognize this and not go crazy on Tier 1 production, which so far he hasn't. Yeah, good turret placement here. I like this a lot. Which, you know, I'm not sure how aware, I don't think Blackmore is aware that Bonk went for 4 skunks per se, but, you know, his build is definitely going to be good against this. Like, Falcons are pretty good against skunks, right? So, let's see if Blackmore is ready to move out. Now, you got to remember, lizards do go better pound for pound than squirrels do in big open engagements. You know, squirrels have the better defender's advantage, and lizards kind of are better on offense, so... Got to see where this game takes us from here. Both players just kind of macroing up, you know, not being crazy. It's basically stabilized, right? I mean, they got pretty similar economies here. They're building up to pretty similar army values, I believe. No, actually, oh yeah, because the turrets. Yeah, those 4 turrets get added up on your army value count, so it makes it look like Blackmore Crest's army is vastly in the lead. Yeah, because that's what, 240 food on top, so the rest of his army might still be in the lead anyways here. I don't know, it looks like Bonk will be, right, once those Falcons get done, because he's going to have 8 Tier 2 against the 6 of Blackmore, pretty even Tier 1 counts. I'm really interested to see how these pigeons fare against the skunks and snakes. Another thing about skunks and snakes too, man, is they can't attack buildings, so these turrets are gonna be a real big pain in Bonk's ass, man. He doesn't have any tool to really come in here and siege, but if he could manage to get like an arty cannon, you know, up here on this high ground, that would be amazing. Yeah, sure enough, he gets one. Now, Blackmore does have that high ground vision because all of his flying units. But Bonk should be in a pretty decent spot to hold this. He's got a nice concave. But that is a lot of the Falcons go down. Yeah, Bonk is gonna win this fight pretty handily. Yeah, that was, I mean, the armies were decent, but that was kind of just your very textbook kind of concave versus convex there, right? Like, Blackmore was all clumped up, which hurts even worse with the skunks. You know, and Bonk had a lot of surface area to attack his opponent. But I don't blame Blackmore Crest for that move, right? Because if that arty cannon gets down, that's going to give Bonk just such a good position. So he kind of had to pull the trigger into that. Just got to be real careful on how you take the engagement, man. Surface area is very, very important. Yeah. Ooh, that is annoying. The Falcons are right there, just barely in range to harass the Warren. Good reaction by Blackmore there. Let's go ahead and sell that off. before it dies. But that wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't cost efficient, but it gives Bonk breathing room on the map, right? You know, get a little bit of that ground that Blackmore has planted for himself out of there. And you know, Blackmore's focusing on a third base here, but Bonk's already got his up and running. So incomes are relatively even here, I suppose. Yeah, just because this campfire has been going for Blackmore so much. But again, yeah, if he could just run in. Oh, the turret stays alive, but he comes back in and gets it. That was, ooh, great follow-up here from Blackmore Crestman. And now Blackmore's got the surface area. Oh, no, you shouldn't have backed out, man. I think he would have won that engagement. Because it was the exact opposite of what we saw earlier where Bonk won, right? Like that time, Bonk was all bunched up and Blackmore had beautiful surface area. It can be hard to tell, man. I don't blame Blackmore too hard for that, man, because you know if your army gets wiped at this point, you know it's like a risk. You know what I mean? You want to be careful for sure. That's unfortunate though, man, because I think Blackmore could have taken that fight fairly well and maybe even won the game off it. But he's still in good shape here. He's only got one turret down, so this army graph isn't as inflated as it was beforehand. And he did manage to establish that third base. You know, if Bonk's not careful, you know, you really can't be bleeding out too many more lizards here. You know, Blackmore punishes him for trying to do something like a runaround attack. This is kind of dicey, though, because Blackmore's army is way up north, and Bonk's got all these very quick lizards to come in and harass on. It's got to be careful, man. Blackmore has a lot of squirrels and is really afraid of these skunks here, but decides to try to come in here and take the engagement. Yeah, that time. Yeah, I feel like Blackmore just ran away a little too much. Like he was committed when he came up in position there, and he might have been able to go more toe-to-toe with that fight, but you know, when you're running away and your opponent's just kind of nipping at your heels there, you get a lot of free damage done, and Bonk's able to take the game off that last engagement. All right, frame drop seems decent. Okay, maybe I'm gonna be brave enough. I'm not gonna put on, like, I'm out here in the kitchen. I get kicked out to the kitchen during streaming time, so I don't have like all my extra monitors set up, but I will go ahead, open the stream back up, at least on my main monitor. I kind of take a look at the chat a little bit in between games. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We're about halfway done with the show here. I might go a little longer. I do try to hit 12 replays a night. Man, don't be saying frame drop, Chip. Am I still dropping frames? You're making me crazy. I shouldn't be dropping frames anymore. Let me know, guys. I did reopen the chat, so. Let me close out of an extra. Yeah, oh God, somebody got bans. Hey, I trust Cyborg and Mishi with the ban hammers. I don't know so much about Chips, but he's got it too. Yeah, I feel like the game was played very well from both sides. I don't want to pick on Blackmore too much, but you know, yeah, the first engagement, it was just a classic concave versus convex situation, you know, and then Blackmore kind of pulled out of a couple fights that I feel like he could have won. You know, there is a concept called commitment. You know, maybe Cyborg can touch on that on one of his shows, but you know, once you're there, man, you're kind of there. You can't start running away, especially when your opponent has quick units like lizards. They're gonna be able to catch up with you and punish you. So. Yeah, Blackmore should not have bailed. Yep, that was really it. Yeah, I don't mean to be too hard on Blackmore at all. I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was a good learning thing there. Yeah, and it's a Bonk game. It's kind of a house favorite, so sorry, man. You know I love all you nerds equally. Let's hop into game number 7, guys. We got Sun Tzu versus Miss Liquor. Both players I indeed enjoy a lot. Miss Liquor was my first donator. Yay. Alright. Spawning at 12 o'clock, we've got Sun Tzu. And spawning basically right in the middle of the map. Got Miss Liquor here, and this spawn for Miss Liquor, man, that is rough. Like, having this high ground right outside your base, you know, if I was Sun Tzu, I'd almost shift my battle plan to that. I'd be like, I'm gonna go 5 farm, double warren, squirrels here, and just be a jerk, right? And just take this high ground and just abuse the hell out of it, but doesn't look like that's gonna be the plan coming out for Sun Tzu. He is gonna opt to go for a bit of economy. And this is kind of like the poker phase of the game, right? Like, who's gonna take the bigger bet? You know, yeah, exactly. Like, if Sun Tzu, he's gonna come in and scout the warren, but if Sun Tzu places his warren soon, he might have enough to defend, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's got the advantage by being up a little ahead in the economy, but instead gonna opt for the turret, which is gonna help him out a lot, because Miss Liquor, upon seeing that his opponent was going for a greedy opening, pivoted to turn the aggression up to 11 with a double warren opening. A nice little adjustment again, selling that off and going for the eco after identifying the turret. I love seeing stuff like that in the early game, man. It really, you know, showcases some of the complexity of this game, man. And I think it's really important. You know, I say that a lot. Like, we don't want an early game where everybody just goes 8 farms. You know, that's not exciting, right? So you saw, okay, aggressive build versus safe build. Oh, you went safe, so I'm gonna pivot out of aggressive and go eco. Try to get an edge on the safe build. You know, little jugglings and adjustments were very nice, and good trade there from Sun Tzu. That mine could have been much deadlier later, only trading 1 lizard for it, so we're gonna stabilize into the mid game here shortly, and just kind of see where these guys want to take it. I mean, Miss Liquor going up for what is that, 4 tier 1 warrens, which is standard. You know, I don't think that's crazy. I feel like once you get to 5, 6, 7, you know, tier 1s before anything else, then you're going a little nuts. But you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 tier 1 warrens is pretty normal before you decide to either tech up or take an expansion or something of that nature. So, and Sun Tzu has a bit of money here, so I'm interested to see what he wants to do. Yeah, for now he's just going to build a lot of tier 1 himself, which, you know, is kind of the correct response to seeing your opponent with a lot of tier 1, because if you know, if your opponent's going for a ton of tier 1 and you don't, you might get overran. But did Sun Tzu? Sun Tzu sees that tier 3, which is huge. And it's going to allow him to adjust his battle plan accordingly. And really, if I was Sun Tzu here, man, I would just go hard. Like, I would try to hard engage my opponent and run him over, because he's investing that 360 food into that tier 3. You know, instead if you invest that into units, nicely catches the mine here. As they're getting placed down for Miss Liquor. I love to see the mine play, man. People experimenting with the new changes. But Sun Tzu's been on top of it so far. He hasn't really let too many mines get planted without him being aware of it. But as I say that, he is not aware of those 2 mines, which could bruise his army up pretty significantly and allow Miss Liquor to come in and jump on him. But Sun Tzu didn't really punish his opponent here for going for that quick tier 3. So Miss Liquor is going to be able to get it out, and it's going to add a lot of DPS to his army. It's going to allow him to gain better income over time. Sun Tzu trying to come in and kill that tier 3, especially with the HP being lower on that warren than it used to be after the most recent patch. Valiant effort, but Miss Liquor was on top of it, had superior lizard number, and Sun Tzu takes an unfavorable trade there. And now that this wolf is out here on the map, man, I'm interested to see if that's going to be a trigger for Miss Liquor to move out. And it looks like for now he just wants to buff his mining rate, his production rate, until he decides to take the engagement at a later time and just tech up for now. And this map is relatively even, right? Like, both players do get access to 3 gristmills here, but the big difference, the big engagement is coming up, but the wolf was not really there. The wolf stayed home for that one, man, and that could have made all the difference in that fight. But yeah, like, forget about the campfires right now, because the campfires going to Mistlicker is a big deal. But imagine it's just these gristmills for both players, right? Like, I would still give this to Sun Tzu, because Sun Tzu's got the high ground advantage here. It's very difficult to attack up into, especially when you don't have flying units. And Mistlicker does have some in his deck here, but he hasn't been able to afford any yet. So it's an uphill battle. I just made it funny. Okay, let's see where this goes from here. It's gonna really be both these players kind of macroing up, trying to get up to their ideal compositions here before the big engagement. I'd really like to see a ferret out of Sun Tzu here shortly, because he can just kind of siege with that ferret, you know, from the safety of his turret, and really start being a pain in the ass for his opponent here. That is a lot of fun to do indeed. But Mistlicker going a little harder on the second base saturation than Sun Tzu is, which is going to give him a nice economic advantage. Approaching the late game, I guess I would say now. I mean, we're at the 7-minute mark of this replay, and waiting to see who kind of decides. Really, it's going to be like, it's hard to explain, right? Okay, we got a little lizard poking and prodding coming in. That wasn't bad for Sun Tzu. He only lost a couple lizards, but I believe he killed a mine there. And he also saw the army composition of his opponent. He saw the chameleons in there, which can catch you off guard a lot of times. Oh, but yeah, so this is going to be like the gambling section of the game, right? Like, whoever's greedier here and can stay alive if neither player is attacking is going to be in the lead. And so far, that player is Mistlicker, so... The question is when these players take their third base, anything like that. Ooh, thinking about it. He's thinking about it, man. He wants to do it. Both these players have been, you know, trying to find those edges for runarounds, but, you know, they've both been fairly on top of their scouting, man. And yeah, Mistlicker is going to be the greedier player and opt for that third base already. He's got his second base fully saturated and getting buffed up by the wolf for that extra income. Damn. So I'm interested to see Sun Tzu's response here, man. If I was Sun Tzu, I would be taking a third base myself. I would be getting some ferrets out. Yeah, does sell that back turret, which is definitely good. He's got some money to work with here. Let's see what the deck choice is. It's gonna be Falcons for now. And there's nothing wrong with building up a big Falcon ball, man. Falcons are indeed strong units that scale very well into the late game. Yeah, I mean, Mistlicker, though, is being greedier. Damn, man, that wolf buff is no joke. Like, 4 of the farms already mined out. And these aren't going to be here for too much longer. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like Mistlicker is ahead right now in basically every way. In army and income. The one thing Sun Tzu has working for him here is this map positioning. You know, it's always going to be difficult for Mistlicker to attack into that high ground, especially if a couple more turrets go down. And Sun Tzu's playing safe. You know, he doesn't want to over macro and get blindsided, but sometimes it comes down to the greedier player here. You know, getting that edge going into the late game, and you know, Mistlicker's economy right now is through the roof, and the third base does go down for Sun Tzu. But he's got to get something done soon, man. I mean, this kind of economic investment is leaving that risk phase and going into the reward part of it, so... It's kind of chasing each other around, no big deal. Man, I would love to see some ferrets out of Sun Tzu, man. Oh, all that economy is starting to show itself in the form of a ton of tier 2 here for Mistlicker. Damn, gets a great engagement on those toads. And, man, like, how is Sun Tzu gonna come back into this game, man? That especially hurt, because he was already behind, and then he just bled off a lot of lizards. my delicious unsweet tea. I've been drinking unsweet tea lately, man. I'm trying to stay away from bad foods and extra sugar and stuff. I'm starting to get used to it. It is, it's not so tasty, but taste buds are adaptable, man. You just kind of acquire tastes for different things over time. Man, like, how... God, this liquor looks so scary right now. I'm really just waiting to see if he's gonna be able to take the game with this push. Let's see, Sun Tzu's got to make a fantastic defense here. That's a lot of poison from the skunk clouds. But that is so many falcons here for Miss Liquor. And I think this game really showcased that, you know, when we're kind of in that Cold War standstilly phase of the game, whoever's willing to take more risks can come out on top, and Miss Liquor takes the game. And I believe that was a humble submission. I believe Sun Tzu was the submitter there, so mad props to him, man, for submitting a loss. All right, let me make sure we're not dropping frames again or anything like that. Rip frames. No, we seem to be good now. What? Oh my god. Should I take a break and like update OBS? Oh man, I should get into green tea. DJ Soak, what is up, man? Haven't seen you in a while, dude. I know you've been around, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I still dropping frames? Should I take a break and try to update, or do you think we can muscle it out? You guys think we should keep break a take? Does OBS need an update? Is there a way I can check that? Oh. What version am I in? OBS 20.1.3. should be the latest. 21.0.1. Oh yeah, no, totally correct. All right, people are saying I'm good. So I will. I'll keep going, guys. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it, and big shout out to all the replays I've been getting here. As far as tournaments go, on the horizon, I think Josh is doing one February 10th. I want to say. I think Strawberry had to cancel, and he might be thinking about another one. Don't forget to tune in to Cyborg's show tomorrow night, Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST on ToothAndTailTV. He started a show doing little learning type things. We'll try to muscle it through, man. Hopefully I don't drop frames anymore. I apologize, guys. There's not a whole lot I can do about it, unfortunately. So let's hop into the next game: Post Salesman vs. Psychopath. Alright, spawning in the 3 o'clock position, we've got Psychopath. And in the 12 o'clock, the Post Salesman. Alright, so nothing super crazy about these decks, right? I mean, chameleons are always good. Ferrets, falcons, chameleons, they all seem pretty good to me. I'm personally a fan of that ferret falcon, man. Just because when you get up to what I've been noticing lately is when you get up to 6 or 8 ferrets, oh my god, I could just shred an army so fast. Psychopath does go for the 5 farm war end, but that's not always a sign of aggression. That could just be safety. And I would actually say that is a safe build, because if you are going to be aggressive, you don't want to queue this farm, right? Because you don't want to get in the way of any unit production. Did I? No, somehow? Okay, maybe I messed that up. Somehow, I apologize, guys, but yeah, it doesn't get in the way of it, so I thought it was a 5-farm warren. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm crazy, but that is indeed a sign of aggression. The second warren coming out. And Post Salesman is going to scout it immediately. Yeah, Post Salesman kind of did what I was talking about, right? Where you like get down the safe warren early, you know, but kind of delay that production by queuing up your farms, getting that fast economy. So Post Salesman is in the economic lead here, but Psychopath is going to have a good number of squirrels, and he's going to have to try to get something done here. I mean, I guess he doesn't. It's better to not do the attack, I suppose, and do the attack poorly, right? It's going to be hard. I mean, with the defender's advantage, it's pretty even number of squirrels anyways, and it's high ground. I really wouldn't like to see Psychopath try anything, so it doesn't look like he's going to, and actually opting for a very, very fast expansion instead. And I'm so paranoid about dropping frames tonight, dude. It's probably the OBS update. Yeah, and I like this from Post Salesman. I always think that's a pretty solid way to approach the game. You know, take like 2 or 3 tier 1, and then take that tier 2 that you like to play with, and it puts you in a good position in the mid game, you know, for a strong move out. But the best tier 2, in my opinion, to go for that build with is that Chameleon, which Psychopath does have coming out. And Psychopath seems like he's in good shape. I mean, this turret isn't necessarily necessary, but he's taken a couple risks here, right? Like, he took a very quick expansion. He took a tier 2 as well fairly quickly, and it just one turret, you know, just to be safe. And with that turret, I would like to see him actually be fairly aggressive about saturating up that base, right? Like, if I invested in that turret, I'd go ahead and go up to like 4 or 5 farms on that base. I think that's what can make it worth it. No, Post Salesman does get the campfire. Ooh, actually, this other campfire in the corner, beautiful, man. I love that. Like, I always do that stuff, man. You know, if there's a campfire, it's going to be difficult to constantly scout, or hell, your opponent might not even be aware of it. You know, just go ahead and snag it. You know, and as long as it lives for a couple of minutes, even if they do eventually kill it, I mean, it paid for itself, right? So. Okay, I shouldn't be dropping frames. I keep switching over to my OBS to monitor it, man. I'm sorry. I'm super distracted trying to stream tonight, man. I like this army composition out of Post Salesman. It's pretty well-rounded, right? Like, you got the ferrets and, you know, for the poking. You got the pigeons and the falcons for the high ground vision, damage, sustain. Let's see if he's able to come out here on the map and kind of plant his flag here, which would be incredibly powerful. Now, Psychopath just had a beautiful expand, man. I mean, you can't really ask. I mean, beautiful spawn is what I meant to say. Like, you can't really ask for better than this, right? I mean, look at this. It's 3 gristmills right up here, easily defendable. Nice high ground. Hell, he's even got a little bit of a moat, you know? So that's all good to go. But the Post Salesman's a little bit pressured here to get out on the map and start, you know, putting his foot down. And if he is able to maintain this gristmill, you know, he basically gets these 2 as well. Ooh, beautiful balloon placement there. That is going to be a real big pain in the ass for Psychopath, especially because he does not have any flying units to give him that high ground vision. And I like this a lot out of Post Salesman, throwing down these farms on this base, you know, because it's really difficult when you have this forward gristmill that's kind of in the middle of the front lines, you know, to throw down any farms on it. Because imagine a fight happens here, they basically trade, but Psychopath's got a couple units left over, it just comes in, snags a farm or 2. I mean, that over time can win you the game. So I still like the gristmill here. It gives Post Salesman, it's basically a 60 food investment for territory. He's got some nice balloon placements here. Gives him a lot of control of the map. And I really feel like it's on Psychopath, man, to figure out an answer to this. You know, ferrets and the chameleons here against balloons feels bad. He doesn't have a very easy answer to those. Well, I guess he does in the form of lizards, right? I feel like lizards are really good against balloons, but he's got no high ground vision, man. This balloon, like, I am so worried for Psychopath from that balloon, man. We got some sweet ferret versus ferret action going on here. It's always a fun phase of the game. if you're into microing. But here we go. Psychopath's gonna take a hard engagement and a very good spot for himself. He had a lot of surface area coming into it, and the post salesman was outside of his sweet defense here. So a little bit of overextension from the post salesman, and Psychopath capitalized on it very well. That's exactly what he needed to stay in this game. That's always got to be frustrating, right? When you go scout your opponent's expansion and you're like, oh god, they've got full 8 farm saturation. I like this out of Psychopath, you know, just checking everything out. Checks for, you know, what kind of tech his opponent's going for, checks the expansion saturation count, comes back and does a good response here. You know, saturates his own expansion up. You know, trying to stay toe-to-toe on the income here. And now we might get into a bit of a lull. It depends on how aggressive these players want to be, but this is the phase of the game where sometimes you can kind of slow down a little bit. Good pressure out of these ferrets, man, and post salesman doesn't have a swift unit to abuse these ferrets for kind of coming out by themselves, you know. And god, if he can somehow manage to get that gristmill, that'd be huge for him. But yeah, this part of the game can get kind of awkward, and then it kind of what I was talking about in that Blackmore, in the Mistglicker versus Sun Tzu game, where it becomes like, you know, who's more greedy, who takes this bigger gamble while we're not attacking each other and gets more swole, right? They're oftentimes going to come out ahead, and unfortunately for Psychopath, this was a little bit of a double-edged sword, these 3 beautiful starting bases. I mean, yeah, they're great, but he doesn't really have any options for a 4th base if we get to that phase of the game, and here we go, man. He's got his boar out now. The wolf is still a while away, and this tier 3 advantage, beautiful concave here from Psychopath. Good micro. If you guys notice, he stringed out his units a little bit to the left before taking that engagement. He's gonna come in here with the butters, with the chameleons. Fantastic army composition. He's gonna bleed out a lot to this balloon. But let's see if he's got enough to come in here and get it done. Oh, he's trying to target the tier 3. Oh man, he gets all of those warrens. And damn, dude. It barely gets that base, and I think that is critical damage for Psychopath to take this game off of. Very well done attack. You know, that board came out at a nice time. That was kind of like Psychopath's, you know, gambit in the mid game. You know, he did a very good start to the engagement by spreading his units out into a concave, getting that good surface area. Yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was great. I think both players played really well. You know, post salesman overextended just slightly in that big game, but the Psychopath was in a tough spot where he was going to start getting contained, and he really pulled the trigger at a good time and managed to break out of it. So, all right, guys, we got a 2v2 game afoot. Let's hop into it. Spawning on the right-hand side of the map, we've got Responsibility and Sexy Pachinko. And on the left, we got Fermar and Ramako. Oh, man. Ramako, man. Look at that deck. Interesting. Just the chameleons. And then, see, this is that, like, Siamese twin 2v2 style I like to see, man. Where, you know, like, Ramako is just got so much defense here, and then he's got the chameleons to help tank on the front line, and then also do little sneaky counter, you know, flank attacks and stuff. Oh yeah, see, this is what people are talking about, where I guess these mines come out, and they can, you know, they'll kill the pig or whatever when it spawns. Yeah, and you just gotta, yeah, the response. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. See, my question was if you just flood this out. And, ooh, he gets both of them for the one squirrel. Beautiful. What if you fluttered out mines, right? Like, put 6 down there. I know that's a big investment. Maybe you just don't have enough money to do that. But anyways, good reaction out of Pachinko there. Ooh, got some more mine action going down over here. I missed a little bit. But, yeah, he's trying to do the same thing over here. And Pachinko, you know, takes out those mines at 1 unit each, so that's kind of been the new cheese little thing you can do is throw down a couple mines that'll blow up a pig right when it spawns. This player's showing you how to deal with that a little bit in this early game, so. But other than that, nothing crazy. Nobody doing any kind of mole rushing or anything like that. My big focus here is gonna be on Ramako, man. This deck is insane. Like, I'd love to see some cool play out of that, and I love how Firmar just kind of has this like bread and butter, you know, our deck composition here. You know, get up to that ferret, falcon, wolf late game, which is totally insane. I gotta start maybe subbing out every now and then the fox for the wolf, because I like to run the falcon and ferret a lot. So just getting buffed up ferrets, like who did it? You know, Print F really kind of stylized that build. But it looks like a lot of fun. Ooh, responsibility. Trying to do a sneaky little flank attack here, but gets shut down by the barbed wire of Ramako. Paying for itself already, which is really good. I mean, if that barbed wire wasn't there, man, responsibility could have easily taken out 2, maybe even 3 farms, so. Not bad indeed. And yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, Ramako just going super hard on the defense here. And Firmar playing straight up, so. And red and green are doing just fine. You know, red took an expansion, and he's getting ahead best he can. You know, nothing crazy. But Pachinko here is indeed doing some crazy stuff. Where is it at? There it is. There's that Badger Warren on the way. Which Badger plus Pigeons, man, is a pretty good army composition. But Pachinko is working his way up towards. But Ramako with this World War I super heavy defensive style, you know, really allowing these players to be very greedy and take second bases very quickly. But this is kind of the correct response from your opponent, you know, like if you see somebody like building all of this defense and trying to macro up, you can just macro up without building the defense, right? Because you don't feel too threatened from an attack because your opponent invested so much in defense. So that is definitely the correct response. Try to stay toe-to-toe on that income with them. Look at these pigeons, like, I don't think so, nerd. Oh, one of them does fall down. After 6 stacks of poison, manages to get the job done. And baits several lizards there to dying, actually. Keeps those snakes alive, so good micro by Firmar. Alright, let me make sure I'm not dropping frames. Okay. Somebody asked about Cyborg's videos. Yeah, we're going to get those up on YouTube here shortly, but they're actually in the past broadcasts of the channel. You just go to the videos, and they're all there. Unfortunately, my stuff doesn't stay on. I wonder if it's because I have those, like, saved video games that are all split up. I might delete those just so I get a little more bandwidth before my shows get erased off of Twitch. Responsibility again, man. Trying to come in and do some crazy stuff with these lizards, but you know, Firmar and Pachinko are relatively on top of it. Bleeds a lot of units there. But Pachinko, man. How did I say Firmar? Firmar Ramako is what I meant. My bad. It gets kind of weird because, like, you notice these nameplates aren't in the right order, right? Like, imagine if green and yellow were switched at the top, it would be a lot easier. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, man. When you're like trying to constantly talk, it can screw you up. But Pachinko's got this army composition he's been wanting, right? You know, the Badger plus a lot of pigeons here. But again, like this is difficult any way you slice it, dude. Like, how are you gonna break into this? And that's really, yeah, this is what I was talking about, man. Ramako. Just with these chameleons to do these Metal Gear Solid tactics here. And red and green are not in position to respond. Oh, but a couple chameleons are over there in position. Actually, I stand correct. No, I'm dumb. Those are Ramako's chameleons. Don't listen to me. Manages to take them all out. Keeps all the chameleons alive so far. They do re-stealth in time. Yeah, that was gorgeous, man. Very good play out of Ramako here. Yeah, that was a fully saturated base too. So tons of damage just done for free. And Ramako gonna sneak out of there with all those sneaky chameleons. Firmar wanted me to make fun of you, Ramako, for floating so much food, so haha. Nah, I don't try to go too hard on guys, man. It's just 2v2. They're just having fun. Not the biggest deal in the world. But let's see. How did this map split? Like, blue and yellow got 4 gristmills. Yeah, this split. Ooh. Okay, so excluding these campfires, which are kind of fringe and could go back and forth, like, that is so... This is a really interesting map, to be honest, because it's really going to get decided by these 2 gristmills in the middle, but hell, I don't think anybody can even really take those, you know? If you got so much momentum in the game, where you push your opponent far enough back to take these gristmills, you probably won already. So really, these extra 2 campfires on the sides are going to be the only distinguisher for a superior late game economy, and it's not going to be by a whole lot. And damn, that chameleon, buffed up by a wolf, just hauls ass over there. And again, man, just comes in. Ooh, that's not good. Loses a couple chameleons, not the end of the world. Yeah, Ramako was not over there to micro him perfectly, but that was still a good attack. He managed to get that campfire. Yeah, I mean, which isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it's got a lot to do with map control and state of mind. You know, it's just annoying and kind of make you a little scared when your fringe, you know, little bases like that just get sniped off. You might be discouraged from ever even really trying to take it again. And yeah, I don't see these middle bases really ever getting taken from any player here. They're just too contestable. And these nice little ferrets on the high ground, and all these arty cannons are coming up as well. Red's gonna try to move in, but makes that classic 2v2 mistake of you know, kind of engaging without your buddy. But Pachinko's got a huge army here, man. But they are trying to go into this very reinforced position that Firmar and Ramako have here. Now, some of those defensive structures just barely got up in time to assist in the fight. And Firmar's strong army is gonna come in here and clean up the remainder of Sexy Pachinko's forces, man. Oh, look at this, another nice little chameleon flank attack. Yeah, he's not even worried about re-stealthing too much at this point, just wants to get a ton of damage done. Yeah. Ooh, gonna go for that badger. But while they're distracted, Firmar's gonna come in here and get that 12 o'clock base too, so now Ramako and Firmar are just all over the place. And Pachinko gets sent to the kitchens, and I don't see responsibility being too much far behind him. Boom. Really cool game. Yeah, that was really funny. Really good game, man. I love seeing like the little chameleon run around attacks and stuff. It's really cool. Boom. Meow Kaiser gifted a sub to DJ. What does that mean? Does that mean like DJ's subbed or something? Interesting. But thank you nonetheless. That's awesome. Okay, guys. Sorry, man. No, I'm not super smooth tonight. I'm just really paranoid about these frame drops, so I'm like constantly checking up on it. Ooh. Just a few more to go through tonight. A little drink of my unsweet tea. I gotta get onto that get on that green tea, man. I think that might be a little tastier. But okay, guys. Okay. Marxist-Leninist, one of the very first subs to my channel. He was beat out just barely. Was he? Now I'm confused. I thought it said somebody else sub, but now it's gone. Maybe he, like, subbed and took it back. I don't know, man. I don't know how any of this works. If people do donate here, I am just gonna throw all the money into a tournament. That's the plan. So let's hop into game number 10, guys. Marxist-Leninist First Targon DR. Targon Doctor, maybe? Toragon Doctor. Ooh, I misspelled his name. Okay, in the 6 o'clock, we've got Marxist-Leninist Hopperism. And his opponent in the 1 o'clock. Toragon Doctor. Ooh, Toragon running that fox. That always makes me happy. But Marxist has the moles, but he's not going for the 4-farm mole rush now. He could do something like, you know, sell off that 5th farm, come in with like a 3-mole attack. But I don't know. I wouldn't if I was him. Actually, Toragon is going for the 4-farm double opening right in front of Marxist. He's very aware of what's happening here. So he just needs to sell off a couple. Yeah, actually, no, he should be fine, maybe. Yeah, that is good. He should be plenty fine with this right here. It's kind of a rough decision whether or not you want to sell off this 5th farm, because you know, obviously if you can keep that 5th farm, you're gonna have that economic edge if you can stay alive and not take too much damage in the early game. And this turret is gonna make him very, very safe here. You know, Toragon really can't attack into this, and the best move if you're in Toragon's position, man, is to go home, sell off one of those warrants, and take the rest of your farms, man. You just gotta concede. Yeah, there he goes. Concede. Okay, this attack's not gonna work. You know, let's not bleed out units. Let's just go home and change strategy. So, good adjustment from Toragon there, and I'm gonna put him in an interesting spot because, you know, I'd really like to see Marxist sell off this turret now, because otherwise that's just a little bit of like sustained damage from that early rush. You know, because I don't want to hark on it too much, but defensive structures, especially in the early game, man, don't just throw them down, you know, willy-nilly. They're a big investment, man. When you've only got like 400 food to work with, for example, you know, 60 food of that's a very large percentage. And it's really good to do things like, you know, build it, you know, fend off the attack, and then sell it immediately. Well, Marxist has some money here, so let's see what he decides to go for. He goes for an expansion of his own, recognizing that Toragon took one as well. And Toragon gets this balloon up in a very nice position, but decides to sell it. Maybe he's not feeling like he's in any pressure. Oh, no, he just wants to readjust it, which is also a fine position there. It looks like we're going to go into a mid-game here. We'll fast forward a little bit while this thing goes. Marxist being a little more greedy on his second base, but nothing crazy. And yeah, if you do notice, I didn't catch exactly when he did it, but Marxist did sell off that turret, which is very good. But beautifully timed attack from Toragon here with those lizards, manages to you know, get 2 pigs for free there. I mean, maybe he lost the lizard. But yeah, I'd love to see like a turret like up here on the high ground, you know. Just kind of has that like little bit forward turret, you know, kind of get some position on the map, man. I want to play Tooth and Tail now. I might play a little bit after the stream. I got to play a few games before I started streaming, man, and I got addicted, and I was like, I just want to play the game. And Toragon getting that fox, man, and it's not really a quick fox. It's pretty well-timed fox, you know, at this phase in the game. When you got that expansion, I mean, it's weird because these expansions were really early, right? But, you know, taking a tier 3 when you've got like a second base pretty established is pretty fine. I would still say it's a little early of a tier 3 just because he doesn't have... He's taking a lot of risks here, and he's taking these risks off the back of these 2 balloons. You know, he's like, I'm going to fully saturate a second base, and I'm going to get a fast tier 3 unit. And that's where, like, kind of how we saw in that Sun Tzu Miss Liquor game, man. It's like sometimes it just becomes who is going to be more risky and get away with it. And Marxist isn't doing too bad so far. I like to see him, you know, he needs to either pull the trigger and try to attack soon, knowing that he should have a better army right now. He definitely needs to farm up a little more. And this is actually a really interesting map design now that I'm looking at it. You know, pretty fair, right? I mean, Toragon's got that campfire, so I guess you could say that goes to him. And he's got that high ground. Yeah, I'd say like slightly I would give it to Toragon because the high ground and the campfire. But both these third bases are spread out here. And either player is really going to have to, you know, take over a lot of the map to get that third up and running. And Torgon, man, he is just such a greedy player. I love it. He's the first one to decide to go for it. And Torgon's got the Fox, but it's kind of difficult on the high ground with the Fox. That's why, you know, if you run Fox in your deck, I highly recommend, as a Fox player myself, you know, running Falcon or Pigeons with it, give you that high ground vision. It's very difficult to attack uphill with a Fox, indeed. But Marxus over here, man, he's got a nice bread and butter composition. Those snakes, man. And Torgon's got pigeons, but he hasn't built any yet. And, ooh, I mean, this is really going to come down to the engagement, right? Like, the Fox doesn't help very much in that direct fight. So I'd like to see Marxus put on some pressure. This is a very good way to do it. You know, force your opponent out of their shell a little bit, out of these balloons, and take this big engagement in the middle of the map. This is exactly what he needs. Great toad engagements onto the lizards. And just rolls over Torgon's army here. Because, I mean, think about all the risks Torgon has been taking this game, man. He would have got, I feel like, a Scooby-Doo villain, right? Oh, 1 HP on the Fox! Damn, man. Barely living from the poison damage. Oh, God. Yeah, I feel like a Scooby-Doo villain here a little bit, right? Like, I would have got away with it, too, you know? Like, really, if Torgon just stayed in this turtley, like, by the time he was reacting, Marxus already had that base taken out. So he really couldn't afford, with all this defense that he's invested in, with the Fox that he's invested in, to take these big open engagements in the field. Like, just look how much bigger Marxist Leninist Hopperism's army is at this point. And I feel like Marxist Leninist Hopperism's done a fantastic job of trying to lure Torgon out of his shell, right? Because even with this army advantage he has right now, attacking up into these 3 balloons, especially with those skunks kind of sitting back, would be very difficult. But, ooh, oh man, I would have loved to see him just kind of snipe that balloon. That's one thing too, guys, about balloons and defensive structures in general, man. Like, if your opponent's army's out of position, like, you can get up and kill that balloon very, very quickly and only lose like a squirrel. So it's important to try to get in there and do that as often as you can. Man, this is a great game so far. We've had a lot of really good games tonight that kind of showcased, you know, different aspects of Tooth and Tail. A lot of good learning replays tonight. I like that a lot. But here we go. Marxus is coming in for it, man. Taking a little... ooh, good kiting from Torgon. Getting a lot of damage done with those skunks. Damn, that was actually really good from Torgon. He doesn't have much of an army to really back this up, but... that skunk kite was so great. Like, skunk shut down. That would be a critique I have on Marxus here. Would be, man, skunks like shut down squirrels so hard, dude. Like, once you identify your opponent is running skunks, you really got to pivot into things like your falcons, your snakes, and you know, it looked like Marxus just got that memo and sold off a couple warrens. But this is also the phase of the game where both these players should really be downsizing their warrens a little bit. To make sure, you see how Torgon's got a lot in the red. Yeah, there he goes, sells off the warren. You don't want stuff in the red, guys. It's almost always better to sell off a warren, because it's not the big first fight that determines games most of the time. It's that follow-up attack, right? So whoever's got more money to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? To finance that second army. Can really come down and win the match. And great play out of Marxus here. He's able to secure this third base, and as he's keeping the pressure on his opponent, you know, Torgon is gonna have a difficult time really ever dealing with that. And I don't know how I missed the Fox dying, dude. Normally I try to stay on top of that. I was probably just ranting about something, but the Fox did go down at one point, probably to snake poison if I had to guess. And I love this constant pressure out of Marxus here, man. Taking this gristmill down, that's the third time he's denied it. And he's been really doing a smart job of, like, trying to not, like, he hasn't taken a single fight under these balloons, you know? And he's at the point now with his army where he probably could, And you notice Marxist did make that adjustment earlier. He had like 18 or 21 squirrels, right? And he went down to just 9 of them. And part of that is this mid-game downsizing to continue production, but part of it most likely was also an adjustment to your opponent running skunks. And Torgon, man, trying to get it done with just a fox and a couple tier 2 units. Just really got to get this second base, but Marxist has been doing a great job all game long, keeping that pressure up. That's really what it comes down to, man. This is a big theme in RTS games. Like, you don't have to attack into here, right? Like, you can just keep denying this base of your opponent. Like that. I mean, I've been a StarCraft player for 20 years, so like, in Zerg versus Terran matchups, for example, Terran might have like 2 bases and super turtly, and you're gonna try to tack into it, you're just going to get hammered. So as a Zerg player, a lot of times your strategy might be, let me just deny his 3rd base, over and over. That's fine, you can have 2 bases, but you're never going to get a 3rd. Ah, that fox going down. Might be the nail in the coffin for Torgon here. He doesn't really have much left to go on. He does have some economy with that campfire in the back. But yeah, man, I love this out of Marxist here, man. He does need to go kill that Gristmill again, though. He doesn't want Torgon to be able to take it. He is aware that it's there. Ooh, sells the turret. I love it. Yeah, I mean, that's really all he's got to do. And I think it's really a great example of how to play around a very turtly opponent here, It's like, I'm just going to stop you from ever expanding while I expand. That's going to be it, man. Losing the 3rd base for like the 5th time is enough for Torgon to tap out, and Marxist Leninist hoppers and takes the round. Okay, are we dropping frames? Doesn't look like we're dropping frames. Okay. Alright guys, we got a couple more here for you tonight. Thanks again, everybody, for a ton of submissions, great viewership. Definitely a big shout out for the subs and donations tonight, man. That was super awesome. And let's hop into this, man. Comrade Goat versus the old Meow Kaiser. Let's do it. Meow Kaiser, pretty well-known name here in the TnTTV community, Tooth and Tail community overall. Always here hanging out with us in the chat right now, so I'll be sure to pick on him extra hard, right? But in the 12 o'clock, we've got Comrade Goat. His opponent in the 6, Meow Kaiser. Meow Kaiser seems to be experimenting here. I like to see these players that are brave enough to play with these, quote-unquote new units, like the mine and arty cannons. They're not new, but, the changes kind of make them new. We've been seeing a lot of Wolf tonight, and Wolf is just a very diverse, powerful tier 3 unit. Can do a lot of different things for you. So no problem with that. And we see Comrade Goat with a pretty bread and butter standard opening. I mean, standard deck composition, right? 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, and your favorite tier 3 and defensive structures. So only critique I'd have there, man, I'm a big believer, and if you're gonna take that Badger, man, you gotta try to fit those pigeons in there too, because that Badger pigeon combo is just very, very strong. But nothing wrong with not taking it either. I mean, it can certainly still work. And nothing crazy so far. Meow Kaiser just opting to go up to the 8 farm economy, the most cost effective. And as I say, nothing crazy. Meow Kaiser caster curses me immediately by going for a very, very quick tier 2 skunk as his first warren of the match here. So again, Comrade Goat, man, it's these turrets in the early game, I don't want to pick on guys too hard, but if you are a new viewer, maybe you're trying to get some tips, man, I wouldn't advise doing stuff like this. You're just, wrapping up food into things that aren't really doing much for you. I mean, as you can see, Meow Kaiser isn't really planning on attacking anytime soon, right? Like, he's got to wait for those tier 2 units to get out. And you kind of want to make these turrets, like, at the last minute, like, oh crap, I've identified my opponent's moving out, right? Let me build a couple turrets in response. And another another good way that you can do something like this, especially with a spawn. Like, imagine if Comrade Goat only took a couple tier 1 Warrens, so you could build a few turrets and then plop that tier 3 down real quick. That's a viable strategy if you like that turtling nonsense here. Yeah, Meowkaiser's gonna come in, see a lot of tier 1, and see some turrets, which he's got to be super happy about, man, because the skunk is a great answer. He's even gonna throw down second skunk warren. I think that was before the scout though. Yeah, skunk's a great answer at tier 1, and he identifies, okay, my opponent's building, these defensive structures. I'm just gonna spend that same money on an expansion. And it's gonna put Meowkaiser in a good spot in the long run. Well, Comrade Goat wanting to muscle out onto the map a little bit. Let's see what he decides to run home, spend his money on. A couple ferrets here. He does have an expansion of his own, so he's not going to fall behind in the economy. Yeah, dude, I'd love to see him like take this campfire, set up a couple turrets. Like I'm always doing stuff like that, man. Ooh, that's a choke that a lot of tier 1 units are going into against the skunk. But good toad engagements knocks out one of those skunks. But oh my god, poison gas for days, man. And Comrade Goat's gonna have to back out of there after suffering some pretty big losses, but it does manage to take a few tier 1 units and a skunk off his opponent, so a little better for Meowkaiser, but not the end of the world. But the big story here is gonna be this mid-game greed. Who's gonna be greedier on their expansion? And so far, it's Meowkaiser, which is gonna put him ahead economically. Yeah, and I love it, man. Like, you gotta be careful. You don't want to be too greedy, but after you win a big fight like that, I say go crazy. Like, I wouldn't even mind Meowkaiser just taking those last couple farms too, Yeah, now that I look at this map, man, it's gonna be rough. I mean, I would say this base goes to Comrade, and it's actually not super bad because there's no ramp for Meowkaiser to get into it. If Meowkaiser had a flying unit, man, that would be so annoying, but that is a spread out gristmill there, but Comrade should be able to get that third base. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal, so relatively even map. I kind of like Meowkaiser's position a little better here because of the high ground, because these gristmills are a little easier for him to take here. It's kind of funny, it's like this no man land campfire in the middle, right? Like, whoever can get that is who's gonna get that hyper late game economic edge. Ooh, the mines. The minefield is here. That's a lot of mines. Yeah, it slims it down a little bit. I'd love to see some beautiful mine hits, man. And Comrade did sneak out a badger. I wonder if Meowkaiser is aware of that. Meowkaiser did scout the badger. And in response to that, might have built a wolf. Going for 2 wolves here. Gonna get crazy buffs on his army. Might speed this up just a little bit while we're kind of hanging out here in this mid-game kind of pokery situation. Oh my god. Not the craziest mine engagements. Only a couple tier 1 units die there, so not the end of the world for Comrade here. But if Meowkaiser stays on top of this, like, Comrade's army is gonna kind of clump up on this ramp, right? And if Meowkaiser's right here with a concave, it's gonna be difficult for Comrade to really move out onto Meowkaiser's side of the map here. One of these wolves is out, and it's getting to work buffing that economy for Meowkaiser here, as we're kind of approaching the beginning of the late game, right? Like, we're getting close to the 7-minute mark. Comrade is gonna try to deny this base. He's got a pretty good army here. Him 3 wolves for Meowkaiser. Meowkaiser doesn't even care, dude. He's like, whatever, take that base. Not a big deal. Sometimes it is better to let it go. It's only 60 food. And Comrade tries to come in for an engagement, and Meowkaiser fends him off. Comrade really needs to keep that badger alive. That badger cannot die here, but those wolves make everything so fast. That badger didn't really have a chance to retreat, gets gunned down. And that's going to put Meowkaiser in fantastic position, man. Wolves are just so good at chasing down units, man. You really can't run away from an enemy player who's got the wolf. Damn, man. 2 wolves. Come on, where's the wolf number 3, man? You teased me with it earlier. There it is. Yeah. Let's get some crazy wolf action here. Damn, and mines. God, I love Meowkaiser. Always doing some crazy stuff, man. Really cool to see. This really isn't even that crazy, to be honest. Like, wolves and mines are pretty good, guys. Especially the late game. You know, if you have enough wolves to basically, you know, buff up most of your units, that's not silly. I don't mean crazy like that. It's just a little unorthodox. It's gonna work. I mean, that's a lot of fire. Especially, like, I would love to see more ferrets out of Meowkaiser here, man, because I feel like ferrets buffed up by wolves, dude. It's just bananas. Like, ferrets actually do pretty good DPS. You know, those, I think it's like 10 damage per hit, which is enough to one-shot a tier 1. You know, take out tier 2 in a few hits, so. Let's see, wolf number 3. There they are, man, buffing each other, having a good time. Ooh, Comrade comes in, sneaks out the campfire, and backs out. But yeah, this is what it hasn't come into play too much, but I'm really worried about, you know, Comrade getting contained here, because it's just a surface area thing, right? Like, all your units walking on this bridge, Meowkaiser just chilling on the other side of it, and he's got the concave, so. We are approaching the 10-minute mark of this game, and yeah, now Meowkaiser's got those buffed up ferrets to just start raining hell down on his opponent. And it's kind of rough if you're Comrade Good here, man. And he needs those badgers, but again, like, badgers are really strong, but you really need those pigeons, to be honest. And yeah, this is what I'm talking about, man. Look at the difference in surface area here. And oh, it's so much skunk clouds. Oh my god, I don't think I've seen that many before. And yeah, Comrade just got devastated in that fight. Keeps the badger alive, so he's got that going for him. God, that was brutal, man. And that was just classic concave, convex type stuff here, especially as well with the clumped up units, you know, against the skunks. So much. It reminds me of like flares or those like smoke grenades that you would, you know, like soldiers out in the jungle would use to like signal their evacs or whatever. What are those called? That's not a flare, is it? Oh, that's a different thing. I don't know, man. I haven't played enough military games anymore. I don't know my military lore. Yeah, that's not gonna work out too well. Now, the one weakness of Meowkaiser's army is he doesn't have high ground vision, but god, wolf number 4 on the way. Yeah, Comrade's gotta get out of this choke, man. He's gotta get up. If he's gonna attack, he needs to get out where he can spread his units out and get good surface area. Otherwise, yeah, Meowkaiser's just gonna keep him in this choke, man. I mean, I'm not so sure if Comrade would even win the fight if he's able to get out here, but he'd give him a better chance. Yeah, it's all those clumped up units, man. And then the retreat, like the retreat just does not work against the wolf. So much gas coming down, man. 2 badgers are on the way, though. Well, I guess a second badger's on the way would be the better way to say that. Look at all those wolves, man. 4 wolves. That might be a little overkill at this point, right? Like, does he even have enough units for those 4 wolves to be buffing everything? Very smartly retreating his units back into his own territory, by the way. So they heal up a little bit in between engagements. It's just brutal situation here as we're approaching the 12-minute mark. I mean, Comrade's trying to get it done. You know, he's coming out on the map. He's trying to be aggressive, not just sit around. Really, like, maybe sitting around might be the right move. Like, Meowkaiser didn't make a starvation farm, and he did buff up his farms a little bit. So, in theory, Comrade might mine out later than Meowkaiser. If I was Comrade, that would probably be my strategy at this point, because he is just not taking favorable engagements against all these wolves here from Meowkaiser. And rightly so. I mean, 4 wolves is freaking expensive, man. It should be strong. This isn't broken or anything. Imagine if there was sort of 4 owls, you know? So it's a little overkill, but it is amazing. Oh, Comrade Goat's starting to get out here. Got a lot of ferrets doing some sustained damage, but again tries to retreat against the wolves. And Meowkaiser doesn't chase that time, so Meowkaiser just played this game because he wants to make fun of me saying woof over and over. I think that was his whole. I think that was his thought coming into this. He's like, I'm gonna make a replay and submit it to Delthius where he's just gotta say woof a million times, and we can all laugh at him. Yeah, I mean, valiant effort for Comrade Goat here, but yeah, that's crazy to try to deal with, man. Yeah, times 2 it a little bit more. See where we go. We are approach. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about, man. Like, I think no, they're actually gonna mine out at. Yeah, Comrade Goat actually mined out earlier. He must have taken that third base slightly earlier than Meowkaiser did, because Meowkaiser did buff up his econ. He didn't do it a crazy amount, I don't believe, but I did see him a few times buffing his economy. Just gonna make your pigs mine faster, mine out faster. But Comrade Goat did hit starvation first. Oh, and this campfire is definitely helping Meowkaiser. He's gonna come in for one last attempt on this 15-minute game here. And just gonna get rolled over by these moonwalking wolves, just running all over the place, yelling all the time. Oh, the Badger Micro tries to keep it alive. It goes down, and with that, Comrade Goat's got to tap out of the game. All right, everything seems cool. Sorry for the awkward pause, guys. I was just checking the chat, the old chatteroni. All right, guys, we got a good one to end the night. We've got Mishi versus Pyle. I do want to reiterate before I lose viewers after the last replay. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Cyborg's tips and tricks show. It's going to be awesome. I never get to see it live because I normally do band practice on Wednesday nights. But it's cool to check out the VOD, man. Like, my job is kind of weird. I'm an engineer and I do a lot of different stuff for this company, but some days it's just real boring stuff, man. Like, I'm in GIS software just estimating inventories and, you know, really mindless work. So I get to basically just watch VODs while I do that, so it's cool to watch Cyborg or other things like that while I'm doing it. So that should be it. I believe Josh has a tournament coming up February 10th. I need to double check with him, make sure that's locked in, and start plugging that a little bit harder. And I gotta check in with Strawberry and see what's going on with him. I know he was like wanting to get something together, then he had a schedule conflict, but then he just messaged me the other day, so I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys know of any tournaments I'm not aware of. I do try to promote any and all Tooth and Tail events on this channel, even if I'm not involved with it at all. It's just cool, man. It's always fun to compete in tournaments or watch tournaments. I actually would prefer to not be involved with a couple of the tournaments coming up so I could play in them, man. But all right, guys. Let's hop into the last match of the night. Hey, thanks for the follow, Jackal Strategy. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Mishi versus Pyle. This should be a good one. Okay, spawning in the 5 o'clock position, we've got Pyle. And his opponent in the 11 o'clock, Mishi. Now, if you're kind of new to the scene or unfamiliar, Mishi and Pyle are both pretty well-known, well-respected household names of TNT, so gonna be crazy. Look at this, man. Pyle going for that strategy, that deck that we saw Ramako making. Yeah, trying to do that little cheesy mind play here. Oh, excuse me. But Mishi knows how to deal with this. Ooh, Mishi instead gonna go for the mole rush, but Piles should have been aware of it. I mean, those mines give him vision. Pile's certainly aware of it now. And if he responds right, I'm not so sure if this would work. He just needs a turret or two, and he should be fine, but instead opting to try to get a lizard out in time. And Mishi gonna go hard on this attack. He's definitely gonna get a pig here, for sure. Let's see if he tries to go for number 2. He does indeed, but he's gonna lose a mole here. Yeah, that was very successful for Mishi. And, you know, Pyle really should have gone for the turret defense against the lizards, or against the moles, rather. It's interesting to see, like, you know, the moles just got nerfed, but that attack was still pretty good, right? I mean, Mishi did a good attack, but here we go. Pyle, the lovely counterattack. Oh, but Mishi, man, on top of it, already plants a turret to defend his farms, anticipating the fact that his main base is open here, and he's kind of starting to set up shop here in the south. But Pyle does have enough lizards where one turret's not going to keep him away forever, and comes in here and gets some good damage done. I don't think he's going to get this last pig. Actually, yeah, he's going. Ooh, it's going to be close. Barely gets it. That's going to really cripple Mishi here, man. He's only got 1 farm to his name now. Now Pyle's not rolling in money either, right? He's only got 3 farms, so not the craziest thing in the world, but look at this, man. Arty Cannon going down, and that is going to be in range of the Gristmill. So Pyle's going to go ahead and finish up Mishi's main base. Yeah, ooh, very nice. Oh, man, I was going to say, like, I'd like to see him keep, like, a lizard there or something, but it doesn't really matter. He knows knocking out that Gristmill is not going to do a whole lot for him. He knows Mishi's got another one at 6 o'clock. Damn, that thing is in range of the Warrens, too. That is brutal, man. And Pyle set up shop at a new location fast enough, and yeah, now he's going to come in, knock that Gristmill out, and kind of scratch his head on how he's going to deal with this game. We're in a very weird situation here, right? There's not any Warrens on the map. You know, both guys only got 1 farm, you know, a couple, you know, second one on the way. Mishi kind of wants to sell off this defense now and go into other things, but he really can't. I mean, 6 lizards from Pyle, if these structures weren't here, that would be enough to knock Mishi out of the game. You know, maybe Mishi could sell this mole, or to sell the turret, but that Arty Cannon's got to stay there for now. Oh, man. Here Pyle comes with the runaround attack. Gonna get the exposed underbelly of Mishi here. That Arty Cannon's still gonna deal damage, but not fast enough. Oh, man. Mishi knocked down to nothing. Has to sell the Arty Cannon at this point just to get a couple more farms up. Oh, what a scrappy game. I'm glad I saved this one for last, man. This is fantastic. Oh, dude, this has been super cool so far. I love seeing stuff like this. And now these players both have to be greedy, man. They both gotta, you know, reestablish their economies. And I'm worried about Mishi, dude. Just 1 turret. You know, it is you know, this farm placement is good. Pyle could probably take that. Yeah, good sell by Mishi there. Also good micro from Pyle. Keeps the lizard alive, but oh no! What are you gonna do about that? Oh, he forces a second turret out of Mishi. But that's not a big deal because he can sell the high ground turret, and this one's gonna defend his farms a little better. Very well done by Pyle there, not losing a single lizard. You know, you really can't afford to lose anything at this point, to be honest. You know, both these players just holding on for dear life with just 2 farms, another one on the way, and 60 food worth the army here. So very neck and neck in the current position. Look how even that is, man. It's so insane. Yeah, we might get into a little bit of a slump here. I don't think there's a whole lot these players can do while they're kind of rebuilding their economies, right? I mean, nobody's going to do something like throw down a Warren on 3 base. I was kind of thinking Mishi's going to do just that, yeah. right when I say it, of course. Classic caster curse. Yeah, that's fine, though, because he can trade out that Warren for the turret. Yep, perfect. And then he can keep the economy going. And the squirrels are going to be great on defense against the lizards. Interesting to see Mishi running Squirrel Toad. He's a believer in the Toads now, I suppose. I've always liked the Toads, man. I haven't played with them a lot since the new patch. They feel good. Obviously amazing against lizards, but they're still pretty good against other things, too. You know? Yeah, but Pyle did manage to get his Warren up as well, which is actually going to grant him 3 new lizards, so that's really good for him. Going up to 6 against just the 2 squirrels. Now he's got a nice 5 versus 2 situation going on right now, and Pyle can smell it coming in here to attack Mishi. Mishi very smartly sells off those building warrens so he can just replace them after the attack ends. It's very important to do that, guys. You know, don't be greedy and try to keep that warren built, that farm building. You know, in situations like that, because 9 times out of 10, that farm is gonna fall. So you might as well just sell it real quick before it takes damage, get your full refund. You know, hold off the attack and take it from there. But Pyle's looking good, man. Pyle's been the offensive player here. So, you know, he's come in and just kind of, you know, bit at the ankles of Mishi all game long. Just kind of run in, take a farm, run out, you know, force another turret, get out of there. You know, things like that. So that allowed Pyle to get up to an 8 farm economy quicker. He's still got a couple building. And now he's getting out a really healthy lizard count, but he's got to be careful because Mishi does have toads, but Pyle is not aware of that. Toad number 1 is just now on the field. But to be honest, Pyle doesn't have much of a choice. Yeah, that one toad got a phenomenal engage there, but again, man, Pyle did get damage done with that attack. You know, knocking out a couple more farms for Mishi here. Yeah, Pyle, I don't think I've got enough opportunity to comment on the crazy deck Pyle's got going on here, because it really hasn't come into play, man. This game has been so bananas. You know, nobody's really been able to do anything but tier 1 anyway, so Mishi probably doesn't even realize what Pyle's going for here. You know, Pyle wants to turtle up and split this map very favorably for him, you know, with a lot of defensive structures, and win the game by doing a runaround attack and sniping gristmills and things of that nature. And right now, so far, so good for Pyle, man. Like, the main entrance of Mishi is now getting contained. You know, already cannon that turret. You know, Mishi's never going to be able to go that way again. At least not for a very long time. But Mishi does luckily have this other way out of his base. But, like, where do you take another base here if you're Mishi, right? Like, Pyle's obviously already got these. He's kind of contesting these 2. He might be forced to just retake his main, which wouldn't be the end of the world. It's not like he farmed a ton off of that already. Mishi's got a lot of money, though, which is a little uncharacteristic for him, so I wonder if he was debating going for a mole attack. But comes back just in the nick of time to defend against the lizard runaround. And that's really Pyle's winning. Well, Pyle can win this game by 2... He's got 2 win conditions here, right? Like, he's never going to be able to take a direct engage because Mishi does have those toads, which are going to blow up upon lizards fairly well. So Pyle can win this game in 2 ways, really. Option number 1 is just contain Mishi. You know, never let him out of here with all of this defense. And option number 2 is splitting the map favorably, maybe baiting Mishi into an attack that, you know, a lot of his defense is firing on. Or once Mishi gets out of position like this, you run around and just snipe the damn gristmill. And if he had that defense that he's trying to work up to, he'd be perfectly safe doing so. Here we go, man. Mishi deciding to pull the trigger. He does know good micro on the toads, not letting those detonate onto buildings. Ooh, as I say that, quite a few do detonate there. He's got the moles to reinforce it, but Pyle did go for the counter attack. I don't know how he lost so many units there. He must have missed something. Oh, maybe like a toad spawned and blew up on him or something. But he's still got a lot of damage on him. Pyle's now going to go for the base race, but Mishi did build another gristmill. Let's see if it gets up in time to keep him in the game. Okay, it's up. Yeah, that must have been what happened, right? Like, Pyle's running around over here, and Mishi's main and a toad or 2 were probably sitting there and just blew up upon the lizards. But damn, Pyle does not have any more warrants, man. Mishi's attack did manage to get in there and take a lot of those out, but Pyle's not messing around anymore, man. He's just gonna get up in Mishi's grill with a lot of these defensive structures and just go ahead and destroy that. And it's gonna make Mishi move again. This poor guy, man. He's like a kid in a military family or something, just constantly moving around here and trying to reestablish himself. So this game is crazy, man. Pyle did take that main base again, which is fine in these situations because that main base wasn't mined out very much. Yeah, great damage from Pyle. I'd love to see him sell some of these back defenses he no longer needs. Perfect. And spend that money elsewhere. I mean, Pyle's looking like he's in good shape, man. But the problem here is the toads, you know. I like what Pyle's going for. Maybe drop one of these defensive structures and either fit in lizard or probably fit in toads of your own right and try to get good engagements on your opponent's toads with your toads. I don't think this style you really would want to go into squirrel because the mobility is key here. It's like I'm gonna lock down my bases with defense, and I'm gonna wait till you're on my front line. You know, my defense should be able to hold it, and then I can run around and go attack you in your butt. And I can't believe this game is still happening. What a crazy match, man. We had some great replays tonight, dude. Very good submissions. Yeah, now Mishi is just gonna take it easy for a minute, try to restabilize. He's gotta be aware. Oh my god, Mishi, no. Oh, that is painful. And just now, Pyle is putting up that arty cannon. This whole time, this has been very exposed. Mishi could have just came over here with his squirrels, you know, kept his toads in position. Now he finds out about it, and he is not happy. He's gonna try to move out before that arty cannon is done, but realizes he's not gonna get there in time. Yeah, Mishi must have thought this is all Pyle had left, so he thought he was in great shape here, but Pyle's booming, man. Really innovative play coming out of this game. Ooh, is that cannon gonna get up in time? I think so. It's gonna force Pyle to sell off all those turrets or just lose them for free. But here we go, the big lizard attack. Gonna try to end the game right here, right now. Mishi's gotta get some great toad connections. Actually, Mishi doesn't even have toads anymore. But does manage to hold it off. Pyle wasn't able to snipe the Gristmill or anything. Mishi's just got a lot of squirrels. But still, Pyle did some good economic damage. God, like how many times have farms been destroyed this game, dude? Like at least 20, right? Like 20 farm kills? Look at all these lizards. Yeah, Mishi tried to tech out of the toads because, you know, you can't see what your opponent's deck is, right? So he's like, okay, he's got lizards, but what else is he doing? And Pyle's like, nah, we're doing lizards in defense, bro. That's what's happening this game. And it's gonna be rough here. And maybe mines might be the answer to try to get these toads, you know, but Mishi did downsize on the toads. 3 toads isn't super crazy. Ooh, if that arty cannon gets up though, that is not gonna be good for Pyle. Is Pyle aware? He is now. That might be a trigger to move out. Yeah, instead he's gonna grab a couple arties of his own. Try to move in here. Don't forget all these lizards are coming from the back end. Pyle trying to get some surface area here. Gotta be careful though, kind of bleeding off several lizards there, trying to get them all grouped up. Yeah, he was trying to group his lizards. Is what was going on there. But now this arty cannon with the vision. Oh, but 2 arty cannons with vision from Pyle with his commander. Ooh, man. God. Wow, somehow Pyle gets to the top of the trade. Damn, what a great game. Manages to take the victory off Mishi. Another humble submission. Mishi submitted that game and didn't mind submitting a loss because it was just such a fantastic game in either way, so. Woo! That was a lot of fun. Alright guys, that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thanks again for all the great quantity of replays. God, sorry, my brain's starting to not work anymore. Yeah, I got a ton of submissions yet again, so thank you very much, guys. Please submit me your replays to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. Check out my YouTube channel. I've been slacking on that a little bit, but I think while I'm working tomorrow, I should be able to just chug out uploading. I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes behind for the YouTube channel, but give me some love over there, guys. I want to try to like. I'm slacking a little bit on my historical log, but I need to go through that. And, you know, the Twitch channel here doesn't let me host my videos forever. You know, as new videos get recorded, they kind of, you know, delete my old ones. So if you want to see, if you're hungry for more TnTTV content, there's plenty of it, man. This is my 28th episode. I say it's a 2-hour show, but really it's more like a 2.5-hour show. So God, 56, somewhere around like 70 hours of content, man. I've done casting. Oh, Sequoia's hosting a tournament. Really cool, man. I'll need to reach out to him and get that. Thank you so much for the bits, Sunzu. I appreciate it, man. Super cool, man. Really happy with the show tonight. We had a couple of frame rate issues, but I think we had some really quality submissions, man. A lot of cool games and a lot of submitters that were pretty humble and submitted losses of themselves. I think there was 3 or 4 of them, so really cool. Don't forget, tomorrow night Cyborg is gonna be playing, and Necromanticer's streaming. Cool. So let's go say hi. Now, isn't it better if I raid than I host? Because somebody was telling me that the other day. Like, hosting, I don't think they get like the viewer numbers. So let's try doing a raid, right? That's just gonna make everybody go over to his channel. So let's go say hi to Necromanticer, guys, and have a good night. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. Come back tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. EST for Cyborg Show. I'll be back on Thursday, and I'll see you guys then. Take care.